All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special live stream that was kind of out of left field. Oh, for some reason, that didn't take. Oop. There. Screw it. We'll do this. Hello, Philia, and welcome. We have a special guest today. I am joined by the one and only Profar.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here, Chris.
Good to have you. We've been kind of
You're
talking
welcome.
about doing something together for a while now, so it's fun to finally have something.
Yeah, because we're halfway. Look, yeah. How do you say halfway across the road? Like we are on the other opposite end of the Earth, so finding the right time can be a bit difficult.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly change something here. My
And
audio is not set properly. So just I forgot about.
is my voice too loud? Because I'm checking the stream right now.
Yeah,
My voice is a little bit too loud.
yeah. Set it to this, and then we'll do that here. You're like the first person that I've streamed with.
Oh, really?
So I wasn't fully prepared for this.
Well, I guess it's a big honor for me. There's a first time for anything.
Like I think I've streamed with other people, but not like with the current setup that I have. Like it was just like gameplay and that was it. Whereas now I actually have a full stream setup. So I'm on camera. I don't have you on the screen just because like
Sure.
you're not on camera, but your voice can be heard by all the lovely viewers.
Dynasty Warriors 9 has a co-op. Well, again, I'm still downloading the game. If the download is done, probably I'll join in. Right now, it's gonna be just like a chill discussion on Musou game related. But yeah, Dynasty Warriors 9 has a co-op.
Yeah. I thought it would be fun to play as Jung He just because I actually haven't finished his story. I haven't finished a lot of people's story in Dynasty Warriors 9 on PC at least. Which is where I've been mostly playing because it just looks a little bit better than PS4 and Xbox.
I mean, you have a PS5, right, Chris?
Yes, I do. And I just
I
pre-ordered the Switch 2.
Oh, nice. I was like thinking, isn't Dynasty Warriors 9 the best way to play? And I know like it's such a weird line to say best play in Dynasty Warriors 9 in one sentence. Right? Is it like Is it like the best way to play Dynasty Warriors 9 is on the PS5 using the PS4 version of the game?
I find that the visuals are still like a little bit blurry. Like the resolution isn't quite as crisp as you can get it on PC. Like that's really the biggest difference is in resolution.
Philia, man, I'm like a moth drawn to the light that is pulsing in rhythm with your voice. Whose voice are you talking about, me or Chris?
He was a warrior possessing both.
I think Origins is the only one that doesn't even, the Nintendo ones at least, have couch co-op.
Although he originally served Yuan Shao, he was defeated at
there are a couple of Musou games out there. Whoop.
Cao Cao instead.
Wait, why is the stream stop?
He sensed Cao
This
Cao's
happens
strength.
sometimes. If you give it a
He worked
refresh,
tirelessly to help him realize his lofty ambitions.
actually, I'm gonna quickly
Why is
put that in the chat here.
Yeah, I guess we ended for you. We're still going. Okay.
Yeah, this is the fun of PEI internet.
Hey, you think your internet's
it that you allowed
problematic?
me to employ,
What about me?
even though I once served you in Shao.
We need to move to
You
bigger
surrendered
cities,
to
both
me
you
once
and
the
me.
provisions at Wu Chao went up in flames.
That's the thing, Chris. I am in the bigger city.
Immediately
Oh,
that the
God.
battle was over at that point.
I mean, I'm like
I respect your keen sense. of
very close
foresight.
to the capital of my province, but the whole province
difficult
is
to find
so
officers who can
insignificantly
understand all
small
of the
when
battle's
compared to the rest of
subtleties.
Canada.
Like what? Toronto?
Your
Yup.
brilliant ability to
We're
read
smaller
so
than
much
Toronto.
into a single act is
Like the whole
awe-inspiring.
province
okay.
is smaller than the
At
city of
last
Toronto.
I have found a lord worth serving.
But sorry. What province are you? So you're not on Ontario, right?
No, Prince Edward Island is the
Now, let us
the
travel
province.
to Qinghai and eliminate the boorish Liu Bei.
Prince Edward Island. Okay.
yeah. Most,
Oh, you're literally in a separate island.
yeah, just north of
We've
like the
received
border
reports that Liu
between
Bei's army is taking up position
New Brunswick
from
and Nova
Van
Scotia.
Castle all the way to Jiangling.
Yeah.
Additionally,
A
there
lot of
doesn't
maps
appear to be
don't
anybody
include
who
us.
Looks like a strategist among his ranks.
That's how small we are.
Then maybe their strategist
Okay.
doesn't look like a strategist. He could
Internet,
be mixed in with the
stop
troops,
being so
like Master Shun Yo
stupid.
is. I wonder what he's like. It's
Like you
hard to
mentioned,
think someone would turn their back
you
on
mentioned
his
big city. I am near
to serve Liu
our
Bei
country's capital,
instead. He must be rather
and the
naive.
internet is still kind of shit.
Although,
Yeah.
perhaps that naivete is the
Now,
key
the
to
other
his
thing is, like,
success. If we can find out more
I don't
about
have a
this
hardwired
strategist, we can use his
Ethernet to my
weaknesses
PC
to our advantage.
because just the way things are set up in our
Maybe
place.
so, but first, we need to repel Liu Bei's
So,
attack on Wen
I'm also on Wi-Fi
I'll take care of that.
trying to stream.
Ah,
Some days it's
see.
good, some days
However,
not so good.
There are likely to be others who have joined Liu
yeah. I used to stream on Wi-Fi too back in the day, and that was the moment where I said, "Yeah, I need an upgrade."
officers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ended up installing a Ethernet wire
down Liu Bei.
that I
want
that we have to, let's see, how does it? Like, we have like
They
to
have prepared a strategy for dealing
pull it
with
out all the way out of the house. So, but yeah, it works most times.
with caution.
Yeah.
Can't believe we could
We're renting a place like the upstairs of a kind of a split entry. Like there's a unit upstairs and a unit downstairs, and the router is downstairs, so we have no access to it.
Okay. Let's see.
What am I should probably think about what I'm supposed to be doing here.
So is this the start of his story?
Yeah.
Really, the start, like from point zero.
Yeah, I think I've played a little bit as him, but
Very kind.
just like to get some gameplay footage for something.
Shushu's mother lives
Ah.
around here.
I'm actually rather surprised that Zhang He's story in Dynasty Warriors 9 did not start him as Yuan Shao's officer.
Yeah, that was a big piss off for me, is that like pretty well none of the characters start where they should have started. Like they all start when they join the faction that they're assigned to, as opposed to like their actual story. Like Xiao Yun, you don't go with Gongsun Zan or Yuan Shao. You start when he starts with Liu Bei.
I also say that a lot of characters doesn't end where they're supposed to end.
Yeah, it
this
ends
game.
at the chapter before they die. which is stupid.
Like for example, I remember watching Lady playing Guan Yinping, I do believe. She ended her story before Chengdu, like before the fall of Shu. Like why not just have her end at the fall of Shu? Because that's where most of the Shu characters end their story.
I don't know, man. They probably
So
didn't want to. They probably just didn't want the story to end with them like losing. I'm guessing.
But they ended Liu Shan's story with him losing.
Then I have no idea.
Dynasty Warriors 9 moment,
it,
yeah.
but where's this fucking material?
So, I watched an interesting, you can say, podcast from a content creator here in Indonesia. His name is Gamasha Window. He actually interviewed one of the developers for Dynasty Warriors 9. His name is Gilbran Imami, and he was the motion capture actor for the Innkeeper in Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Oh,
But the sun sees his own
interesting.
choice.
So he had some,
Decide how to act for
yeah, he had
himself.
some interesting things to say about Dynasty Warriors 9, you can say. So, according to him, when Omega Force was developing Dynasty Warriors 9, they were actually also in development of their new engine, the Katana engine. Well, it's not really a new engine, it's more like an upgrade, you could say,
Yeah.
of the engine. So they were like, Dynasty Warriors 9 was the first actual next-gen Dynasty Warriors at the time. You know, it was developed. It was developed for the purpose of it was a ninth gen console, PS4, Xbox One, and so on.
Yeah.
This is all my fault.
Like Dynasty, well, we got Dynasty Warriors 8, like prior to Dynasty Warriors 9. We have games for the PS4, but it was mostly an upscale or like an upgrade of the PS3 games.
Yeah, like this was the first one that was solely developed specifically for the PS4 and Xbox One, PC.
Very good.
No Switch port, no PS3 port, no like downgraded port. I mean, it's hard to
Ghost, I really
downgrade
hate
it
this game.
farther.
Yeah, I know. So, according to Imami, the team were like Omega Force Koei were developing their new engine for this game specifically. However, from what I've heard in the podcast, the lead programmer or lead engineer for the Katana engine actually left the company mid-development to work on Nintendo, or to work for Nintendo.
Wow.
So they left, they pretty much left the development of the new engine by themselves without their lead programmer, and they had to kind of like compensate for lost time or lost men there. Rip engine. Happy MusouMay, bro. For hello, Media Liao. Happy MusouMay to you too. Yeah,
Yes,
so
hello.
that's one. That's one. Basically, the lead programmer of the lead engineer for the graphic engine of this game left the company for Nintendo.
Well, that definitely wouldn't help development.
And according to Imami as well, when Omega Force was developing this, they had a vision for this game. However, Koei Tecmo was under heavy budget constraint. Well, when I heard that from him, I was like, yeah, I don't really need his explanation about the game having budget constraints and time constraint from him. I mean, you can just look at it for yourself.
You can feel it. You can hear it in the voice acting. Apparently,
I've heard also.
I heard that even the Chinese dub for Chinese speakers wasn't very good. It just sounds good to us because we don't know Chinese.
Or Mandarin. I heard also that for the English voice acting, they only had one take.
Oh. Is that... I heard that they had multiple takes. It's just that they did have a time constraint on how long they could be in the studio, and that the director didn't even know how to pronounce certain names and things. They were just kind of given a picture of the character that they're voicing. Like, they didn't even see the video to act like the character is moving and their emotions and that stuff. Which is usually that's the thing, is like when you're voice acting professionally, at least, you usually have some sort of visual to like put to what you're voice acting over.
Yeah, so what I found also while I was like doing my Dynasty Warriors Origins review, I found some interesting article about Shoto Mohiko, the producer of Origins. So he said that they were actually planning to make a Dynasty Wars 10 as soon as Dynasty Wars 9 was done, to compensate or like to as a reaction to the negative response of Dynasty Warriors 9. And that game was going to be like an extension of Dynasty Wars 8, Shin Sangoku Musou 7. So it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get Dynasty Wars 10 as something similar to Dynasty Wars 8, but probably with more characters and minor, like some other improvements.
Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned that, because right now on the Guildcast, we've been going through concept art and comparing the concept designs to the in-game designs. And funny thing about the Dynasty Warriors 9 concept art is that a lot of the characters are shown with their Dynasty Warriors 8 weapon in hand.
Interesting. Yeah, so that was like when I read that was kind of like very interesting. So if it's gonna be like, if Dynasty Wars 10 is gonna be like an extension or an improvement, or they're gonna build Dynasty Wars 10 from Dynasty Wars 8. So does that mean all the characters have their Dynasty Wars 8 weapons? And then since you mentioned that, Chris, I have the feeling that they would if they had gone with that plan.
Yeah, like from the concept art for Dynasty Warriors 9, it seemed like Dynasty Warriors 9 was going to have the weapons and movesets, or at least the weapons of Dynasty Warriors 8. Which I feel like if Dynasty Warriors 9 had the combat of Dynasty Warriors 8, it would have been a little bit better. No, I wasn't.
But then again, like the game design, like the more I think of it, the game, like you can say the game design of Dynasty Wars 9 is pretty different than Dynasty Wars 8. So most likely you're not gonna like. I do understand why they like the combat is different or change here, because you have two completely different game design, and so, and again with all the like like development issues that Dynasty Wars 9 had, I can see why they had some cloning to do, or they had some changes to do that wasn't really fleshed out.
Yeah.
Hey, Smiley, welcome.
Hey, what's going on?
I'll be here if you need me.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I feel like, because when I first played Dynasty Warriors 9, like when it came out, I could feel the potential, and that's why like I did give it a more positive review at the time. I do kind of regret giving it a positive review, but at the same time, like I can tell that there is a potential for this to be a great game. They just fumbled it real hard.
Funny that Warriors Abyss is the closest Musou style entry where every character is unique in a long while. Well, if you're gonna say that every character is unique with a large roster, that to me that would go to Warriors Orgy 4.
Yeah. And then that's also not that good.
Yeah, like you can tell in Warriors Orgy. Oh, that isn't Warriors Orgy. Yeah, makes sense. But then again, Warriors Abyss is kind of like Warriors Orgy in a way. I wouldn't be surprised if the next update we're gonna have Orochi characters.
Yeah, like I'm just counting down the days for that to happen. It's got to happen at some
this
point,
day,
right?
To this day, I still don't get why we never got classic costumes in Dynasty Warriors 9. I would love to, but I don't think it will add anything to the game. Well, it would for some people, but for me, I don't really have the need to have new older costumes. I would love to. Speaking of older costumes, speaking of older costumes, I want to talk a bit about Dynasty Warriors Origins because they did drop Zhao Yun's DW3 costume for Origins, right? And free! Wow! Koei Tecmo giving something for free. That's something, right? That wasn't on my bingo card this year.
Right? Koei Tecmo actually, like, treating their game, like, properly.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So...
like, I personally would love to see them, like, add... I would have liked to see them add older costumes to Dynasty Warriors 9 just because, like, just that nostalgia factor. It would have at least helped me go back and play more of this game. Begrudgingly, though, at least still would go back to it. And, like, the one thing with me and cosmetics, at least, is I always know that if I have cosmetics to fall back on, I can play for days. I just switch up my costume every now and then, and I can play it forever, kind of thing.
Fair point. Fair point.
That's one of the reasons why
Yeah, I mean,
still
costumes-
go back to 8, because, like, I want to... Well, 8 in and of itself is a good game, and I want to do everything I can in that game. So I'm trying to aim for, like, maxing out every weapon, every character's stats. So trying to grind up the gold, beat every stage on every difficulty because it shows which difficulties you've cleared them on. Like, literally trying to do everything. So having all those cosmetics does help.
Yeah, and I agree on that one, though. I agree. Because I more or less do the same thing with Warriors Orgy 3.
Yeah. That's another one that I need to play more of, especially on PC.
So-
'cause I've mostly played it on PS4, and then when I got the Xbox One X, I switched over to that.
Yeah, so going back to about costumes in Dynasty Warriors Origins, I would love to have read more classic costumes that Zilliwan can wear, because when the game was announced for the first time, the debacle was that, oh, why can't we customize Zilliwan? Now, looking back at it, about whether Zilliwan should be fully customized or not, I'm actually okay with having one focused character on Dynasty Warriors Origins, Zilliwan. However, what I would, like, personally, what I would change with that is, how many of you, or even Chris yourself, have you played Black Myth Wukong?
No, I haven't yet. I still need to...
So, so for those who have played Black Myth Wukong, you know that in that game, as you progress through the game, the Chosen One, he's not called Wukong, he's called the Chosen One. The Chosen One, you can actually unlock more more armor parts for the Chosen One. So it's like you can unlock headgears, torso gear, arm gear, and leg gear. So I kind of wish that Dynasty Warriors Origins did something similar. So as you progress through the game, Zilliwan can unlock different costume parts for his head, torso, arms, and legs. So it's kind of like you know how Dynasty Warriors 8 customization works, right? You have the headgear, the torso gear, the leg gear, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
kind
I
of
wish
what I would have loved to have had. Like, I would be cool, just like you, if Ziluan was just the avatar, but you had some sort of customization around the armor.
exactly, and make it interesting, as in like, okay, his default outfit is his Luan garb, but then as you progress through the story, you can unlock more
Training paid off.
either original armor piece or armor pieces from previous games. Like, especially where the you can say gimmick is that Ziluan can choose between between the lords that he wants to serve, whether it's Cao Cao, Sun Jian, or Liu Bei. So if Ziluan picks one of the factions, he could unlock. Oh, what are you doing?
Trying to destroy these boxes. So I think... Is it just the fence that I need to break down?
Oh,
Oh wait,
so
listen
it's
to
like
the peasant's request.
you can unlock costume parts from characters of previous games depending on what faction you serve. For example, if you serve Shu, then you can unlock Zhao Yun's DW3, like parts of Zhao Yun's DW3 outfit, but you can mix them with other parts. Let's say you have Zhao Yun's torso, but Guan Yu's arm guard, or Liu Bei's leg part. And if you serve Cao Cao, let's say you can get Xiahou Yuan's helmet from Dynasty Warriors 5, for example. Something along those lines, you know? They should have had that in...
Honestly, there just should have been
Dynasty Warriors
something
Origins?
that, like, a Wei costume, a Shu costume, and a Wu costume. Like, there should have been something like that. But that was pre-order deals.
Yeah, like I will never be okay. Like I said, I will never be okay. I will never take any reasonable excuses why we need to pay extra for slightly color alterations.
Yeah, like that. To me, that stuff should be given for free. If it's gonna be DLC, it should be free. But like, if you're gonna make us pay for something or make us pre-order something in order to have something that's gonna be a pre-order exclusive, like, it should be something worthwhile, something that like will make you want to do it. Like, obviously,
Like the Wolong costume.
Oh yeah, like
the Wolong costume is pre-order, right?
yeah, that was a good choice as a pre-order bonus, but that was the digital pre-order bonus. The colored ones were physical pre-order, I think.
Yeah. So it's like one of the things that pissed me off when I saw the altered colors DLC. Not only the costumes are slightly changed, like they only changed like the color, some of their band colors for Ziluan's garb. And another thing is that, guys, if you've been playing Musou games for a while, remember in Samurai Warriors, remember that we can customize colors for free in Samurai Warriors 3 and Warriors RG 3?
Yep. I don't know why they took that away, because, like, I love that.
Yes.
I thought that was a
Oh, hello,
lot of
Sword.
fun. Oh, hey, Sword.
Been a while.
Grand Strategist asked a good question. If you could give 5 characters a new hypothetical route, who would it be?
The enemy encirclement has collapsed.
Um,
At last, our army can
We actually
advance
talked about this again in the guild cast, looking at those concept art for Dynasty Warriors 9. The Guan family has a lot of really cool alternate concept art for their costumes, and I thought of one scenario where the Guan family survives Fun Castle somehow. but like just barely. So Guan Yu is like, you know what? I can't keep fighting these life or death battles, because if I die, then my brothers need to die as well, because we made that oath. So I'm gonna retire essentially and give Guan Xing my the blue dragon. And then Guan Xing inherits that, and Guan Yu convinces Zhang Fei, so Zheng Bao gets the Serpent Spear just for that DLC route.
And Liu Bei would be, what do you do with Liu Bei? Like he would hand his
maybe
mantle to Liu Shan?
I don't know. I feel like Liu Bei would still be the leader. He would just take kind of a more or less frontline role.
Like if it was up to me, Grand Strategist, the 5 character I would have new hypothetical. Well, first would be Guojia, because I like Guojia. Guojia already had a really good hypothetical in Dynasty Warriors 8. Probably you can expand that on more. Second is Pang Tong. I feel like Pang Tong deserves a hypothetical story, like how they gave him in Dynasty Warriors 5. He actually survived Chengdu and went all the way until Baidi Castle. Guojia, Pang Tong, who else? For Wu, you can, for Wu, either Sun Jian or Sun Ce. Oh, okay, I'll put both of them, Sun Jian and Sun Ce. And one more would be, one more, who would I pick one more? Yuan Shao. So, imagine this, what if Yuan Shao wins at Guandu?
I was just
right?
thinking that.
So, yeah, if Yuan Shao won at Guandu, that means Yuan Shao can go to war with Wu at Chebi.
Yep.
Instead of Cao Cao.
Oh my god, now could you imagine if, like, he let Cao Cao live and Cao Cao joined Yuan Shao? Like, his army, or his faction just, like, absorbs all the Wei characters.
And what would you do, like, what would happen with Liu Bei if Yuan Shao won at Guandu? Because Liu Bei was on Yuan Shao's side during Guandu to fight a war against Cao Cao. So would he still support Yuan Shao? Because Yuan Shao's primary reason for joining Yuan Shao at Guandu was to save the emperor from Cao Cao. But then if Yuan Shao won at Guandu, that means Yuan Shao has the power Cao Cao has. That means he's in control of the emperor. Would the emperor issue the decree to kill Yuan Shao as well, so he joined Sun Quan, for example, or Sun Ce if Sun Ce was still alive?
Yeah, like, that's the thing, is you could go either way with it. Like, Liu Bei could be like, you know what, Yuan Shao is getting too power hungry, or he's letting it go to his head, so we need to stop him. And that's how you get to the point where it's Liu Bei and Sun Quan at Chebi against Yuan Shao. Or it could be Yuan Shao versus Wu, and both Liu Bei and Cao Cao are on Yuan Shao's side.
Or another possible outcome is that since Yuan Shao defeated Cao Cao on at Guandu, and Liu Bei, like I said, Liu Bei looked at Yuan Shao as being too power hungry. What Liu Bei would do is that he would team up with remnants of Cao Cao's army to take out Yuan Shao.
Okay, that would also be pretty cool. Now, would you still do it at Chebi? It would just be Cao Cao and Liu Bei versus Yuan Shao?
Or no, like you can do it on Chibi, or you can do it in somewhere else. Chibi, like, or you know, you can do it at Chibi. So Liu Bei and remnants of Cao Cao teaming up with Wu to take out Yuan Shao. That would be interesting.
Or it could be kind of like a Guandu 2.0, where it's like, this is where we fell last time, but we won't fall again. But like,
KT had the
of-
opportunity yet? They didn't do it. No, I'm reading the chat. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was thinking like, because technically it's Yuan Shao attacking Guandu originally, whereas you could flip the roles and have it be Cao Cao and Liu Bei attacking Guandu, where Yuan Shao is residing.
Hello, Prime. For me, the best hypothetical route would be for Liu Shan to stand up for himself and finally rule his kingdom as his father hoped to be. That's what I say. Like, that's what I've been saying. Like, they could have done, a lot of interesting stories with Dynasty Warriors at this point. But I know, like, Dynasty. Like, the thing with Dynasty Wars is that up to Dynasty Warriors 9, these games become bigger and bigger in terms of roster, in terms of presentation. So having too much, you could say, they need to compensate with something. Like having multiple story ideas would not be beneficial for the development if there's so many ideas about it. I don't know how I explain this, but I hope you understand. It's just kind of like the games have been big. The games have become bigger and bigger as the series progressed.
Yeah, like I could see
Still good
them
with the red.
adding hypotheticals into Origins as like a DLC for the movesets that we don't have access to, like the old sword moveset that Gan Ning and Xiahou Yuan have. You could make it a hypothetical route for Gan Ning, where you get to join him before joining any of the other factions, and you go along with him as a pirate, and you join his side on Huang Zu's side against Sun Ce. And I don't know, maybe you do win against Sun Ce, and I don't know where you would take that. I was also thinking maybe Genji for the throwing knives, Zhuge Liang with the fan, and I would go with Hua Xiong for the club. Just because, like, Shuju's too close to all the other stories that I don't think you could really work something. I mean, you could work something out for him, but I feel like there's more opportunity with Hua Xiong. Plus, then you could also technically have a hypothetical where Dongzhuo survives Hulao Gate.
Genji with throwing knives is a disgrace. Yeah, I feel ya. Like, I think I've said it to you, right, Chris, when they first showed the gameplay in TGS. I was like, oh, I'm seeing so many red flags. Oh, like they're gonna do clone movesets again, and they're gonna do like silly shenanigans again. Dynasty Warriors 9. I'm like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah. At least it turned out a good game. Like,
yeah, exactly. And honestly, I'm glad that I was wrong. You know, I'm glad that I was wrong. I'm glad that the actual
I was so
game
scared too, man.
switched me.
Like, I think everybody was, as more and more information came out, like, everybody was just so skeptical about how it was going to be executed, because it was like, oh, these are some good things and these are some really bad things. And then it turned out that those really bad things didn't matter as much. Like, I still would have preferred to be able to play as the characters, even in a free mode type situation. But at the end of the day, I am cool with the package that we did get.
Yeah. At least, the final game that we got was actually pretty good. I've said it in my review that I first of all, when I first tried the demo, I was like, oh, okay, this is actually really good, how the gameplay flows. I'm going to give this game a chance. And when I actually played it for myself, I was like, wow, you got me, Koei. You actually, you got the W on Dynasty Warriors Origins. And the way I see it, like, are there flaws in Dynasty Warriors Origins? Absolutely. But I look at it as, okay, this is their evolution of Dynasty Warriors, right? This is their 25th anniversary game. Their 25th anniversary game of the series. It's like you have a good foundation on, like, they have a good foundation on where they want to go with Dynasty Warriors Origins, and I hope, like, in future games they build upon what they have in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Because one thing that I highly praise from Dynasty Warriors Origins is the combat. It's not your typical Dynasty Warriors combat where it's mostly a string of square, or a string of square ends with a triangle, and every character is patternized. That's what I mentioned in my review and a lot of my videos. In older games, like, as much as I like them, in games like Dynasty Warriors 4, Dynasty Warriors 5, Dynasty Warriors 8, characters are, and even in some Warriors, characters are patronized. Like, square, square, triangle is a stun.
Yeah, it's just,
exactly. They technically play the same.
Whose C2 is better, whose C3 is better, like, that's about it. They all have the same sort of foundational structure to them.
Exactly, and they switch. They switch up in Dynasty Warriors Origins, so every weapon has their own playstyle. And I've mentioned this as well. When it comes to Musou combat, I use Sengoku Basara as a gold benchmark. Basara 4, like, despite we can go on semantics whether Basara is a Musou game or not. I don't really care, I said Basara is a Musou-like game because technically it is like a Dynasty Wars game, but with Capcom's take on it.
Yeah, like,
I use Sengoku Basara for
differences, but for the most part, it is. Like, I would argue that it's a Musou-like, just the same as, like, Sunrun Kagura or Drakengard. At least Drakengard 1. 2 to a lesser extent, definitely not 3.
Yeah, and, like, we can go, like, some people argue about semantics. Oh, you can't call it a Musou game because it's not from Koei. Like, that's not the point. Like, usually we call it Musou game to make, discussion simpler. It's kind of like when you play Wukong.
Yeah.
Is it a Soulsborne game? Like, we call Wulong, Rise of Ronin, we call them Soulsborne-like.
Yeah.
Despite not being from software, right?
Exactly.
Just to make a, just to have a simpler term for a discussion. Like, if we're going to go over semantics over this, then we're not going to have, like, the proper discussion. Like, some people say, oh, let's not call it a Musou game, let's call it a crowd hack and slash. Just call it with simpler term, let's just use simpler terms. Okay, if you're gonna say Musou games are only from Koei, then let's just call them Musou-like.
Exactly. And to Grand Strategist's question, yes, I would consider Ultimate Ninja Impact a Musou-like. It is on my list.
Yeah,
to
Naruto
cover
and the PSP.
in the part 2 of Musou clones whenever I actually get around to doing that.
Is it possible they let us capture
Yeah,
John Lin?
Musou-like game. So,
I am worried.
Basara 4 is my gold benchmark when it comes to Musou combat, because the thing with Sengoku Basara 4 Sumanagi especially, like, the button commands are not just square and triangle. You have front triangle, like, they don't have charge attacks, you have special attacks. And, like, for example, you have triangle, front triangle, hold square, R1, L1 triangle, L1 square, R2, and every special attacks work like fighting games, as in like they have different functions. Some special attacks are grab, some special attacks are rapid tap attack, some special attacks are AoEs, some special attacks are
Yeah, like Capcom has
yeah.
the Street Fighter series as their experience, and they kind of carried over a lot of that mentality to Sengoku Basara. And I think that's
Yeah,
why
exactly.
I didn't really explore the movesets all that much, because like I got out of fighting games. I think the last fighting game I really played seriously was Tekken 5. So it's been a
Well,
while.
I did, Chris. If you see my channel last year, I actually did all 40 characters in Sengoku Basara for Sumagi, not just completing their story. I actually break down every character.
Yeah. I've been tempted to do
Everyone.
something along those lines with Muso games. It's just, I always put too many projects on my plate, and right now I'm just 100% focused on this Why We Love Warriors video, so I can hopefully get it out while it's still the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, hopefully it works that way as well, because I'm in like a similar position for you. Like, I have so many ideas I want to do, but like I just don't want to overwork myself, because it's like I want to have a certain focus for certain months. For example, like May, June, and July, I'm focusing more on Basara 20, because because you know this year is the 20th anniversary of Sengoku Basara series, and out of all gaming channels that are in English, I don't see anybody doing Basara as in depth as I do. So why not I give that a chance?
Exactly. You just gotta do what makes you happy, and that's kind of what I'm planning to do. Like, once I'm done of this Why We Love Warriors video, which I know is going to burn me the fuck out, but I don't care, because I know that it's going to be worth it in the end. I'm going to focus on more smaller videos before I tackle another big one like that, which may mean I do much shorter parts for the Warriors clone stuff. Maybe because I've also been wanting to just do smaller videos on smaller topics. Stuff like maybe breaking down the Guandu stage in Origins, like what are the different paths that you can take, or talking about, I don't know, just like a small mechanic for like 5 minutes, instead of talking about several mechanics in a full review for like half an hour.
Are we gonna get a Basara 5? Well, again, that's all up to Capcom. However, yeah, I know. I will say this: the least Capcom could do for their 20th anniversary is re-release all their games on Steam.
Yep. Or at least
I'll drop it. You know, I'll drop money for a collection of Sengoku Basara on PC. If you don't wanna, if they don't want to have an English dub, I don't mind not having English dub, but at least have an English sub.
yes, 100%. Or even if they just release Sumedagi in English, I feel like that would be enough. But I would
Absolutely.
prefer to have all 4 games. Well, 5, I guess. I would like to have an English version of Sanada Yukimura Den.
Well, if you count everything for the main, well, Basara has 10 games overall,
Yeah, 'cause-
including the 11, including the PSP and the fighting game. But if you're talking about the main series, it has 8. And the thing is with Basara is that, other than Force Sumeragi, the expansions are not like Extreme Legends.
Yeah.
They kind of lean more towards, like, you know, Summer Wars 4-2?
Yeah,
Right?
it's closer to that. Because I have played 2 and 2 Heroes, and they're different enough that they might as well be their own separate games.
Okay, to answer your question, is it not a dead series? Here's the thing. To me, a game never truly dies as long as people still make videos, as long as people still play them. I give one example. Wait, why can't I give an example? There was one.
Legend of Dragoon.
Tenchu, for example. Legend of Dragoon. People still talk about them. People still play them. Breath
It's
of
only
Fire.
one
Breath of
fucking
Fire.
game in the series.
Breath of Fire. Remember that?
Yes.
You remember Capcom's RPG? Breath of Fire? Breath of Fire hasn't been around since, what, 2004? But people still talk
Wild
about them.
Arms?
People still play them. Wild Arms. Until rather recently, Suikoden.
Yep. Oh,
Suikoden
Crimson
2
Sea.
is still...
The Crimson Sea might as well
Crimson
be
Sea.
dead because like next to nobody talks about it.
Suikoden 2, for example. Suikoden 2 is still the most celebrated RPGs ever.
Yep.
Right? People still talk about, like, we haven't got a Suikoden game since, like what, 2006? With Suikoden 5? But people still talk about Suikoden, so it's not dead. Like, to me, despite not having new games, as long as that game is still being celebrated, is still being talked about, it's never truly dead. Dino Crisis, that's another one. Dino Crisis. If you saw Capcom's community poll, the number one game that people want Capcom to bring back is actually Dino Crisis. So it's not dead.
And like that's one of the reasons why I love covering lesser known games because it kind of keeps them alive. And it's also like I have a lot of friends that call me a hipster because like it's not just video games that I usually prefer the lesser known stuff because like my favorite anime of all time is Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. Shout out if you know what Beck Mongolian Chop Squad is. I have the fucking soundtrack. I have the fucking where is it?
Oh, I know Beck. You know, like I know what Beck Mongolian Chop Squad is, but when it used to air in our country, but it's just called Beck when it was airing here.
Yeah, that's the same for here in Canada. It was just referred to as Beck, but it always had like the logo had Mongolian Chop Squad as the subtitle. Another series, Tomba. Bro, I still talk about Tomba 2 until this day. I haven't played
People still talk about Tomba.
2. I've only played the first one.
Yeah, a game, like I said, the game never truly dies. You're called a hipster, you know? At least, like, you know, Chris, at least you're being called a hipster. Some people call me a dick sucker. Like... Hey, I kind of play it out, you know? I kind of play it out when people say, oh, you're... Like, when I say how Basra is a bit, like, in terms of presentation, comment is better than Dynasty Warriors, and people call me a Capcom or Basra a dick sucker. Hey, I played it off, you know? I played it off to them. I was like, hey, if you're at least... When you suck a dick, you had... Okay, if you have to suck a dick, suck a good dick.
Exactly.
You know?
And hey, we don't kink shame in this household. Like,
or
at the
like,
end of the day,
I'm a street of...
just dig what you dig, enjoy what you enjoy. To each their own. Like, exactly. Like Chelsea is making a cake in the other room for Mother's Day tomorrow, and they were just like, as long as everybody is an adult and consenting.
Like I got that I got that often. Like I'm a big Streets of Rage fan. When I made my top 20 2D beat 'em up games, I put most of the Streets of Rage games on top. And there was this one comment like, "Hey, get that Streets of Rage joystick out of your ass!" And I respond to him saying that, "Nah, I'm gonna ride that joystick as hard as I can, brother."
There you go.
Streets of Rage LFG.
Like I like more than just Dynasty Warriors. Like that is primarily what I play, but some of my favorite games are like BioShock Infinite is one of my favorite games. Not
BioShock.
The first BioShock. BioShock Infinite. Even more of apparently egregious opinion. My favorite Infamous is Second Son. I prefer Delson Rowe to Cole McGraw.
I have Streets of Rage, Wait, oh, that's not Streets of Rage. That's Final Fight. That's from Capcom. Streets of Rage is from Sega.
No kink
It only has
shaming
4
unless
games. Streets
your
of Rage
kink
1,
is
2, 3,
kink
4.
shaming. You get it, Navir.
So, Basara. What to talk about Basara a bit? Yeah, I use Sego Basara 4 as the benchmark for
Your
Musou combat.
Musou,
And
yeah.
so I've seen pieces of Sego Basara combat in Dynasty Warriors Origins, like how you can use block and charge attack, L1 and triangle, and how you can attack while dodging. Like, it's one of those instances where I feel like, yeah, we can go, like, Koei Tecmo can, Omega Force can improve a lot with this style of combat. Like, if they improve on this, they might as well have the most in-depth combat in Musou game.
Yeah.
It's a good start. You can say it's a good starting point for Dynasty Warriors going into the future.
Like, I made the joke when I was first playing it, because I got an early copy. So Chelsea was preparing for some of the conventions while I was playing it, preparing for the review. And I turned to Chelsea and I'm like, wait, is Dynasty Warriors good now? Because, like, I've always enjoyed Dynasty Warriors, but this is the first Dynasty Warriors game where I feel like if I can convince people to play it, they're going to enjoy it. It's just about convincing people to finally give Dynasty Warriors a try, or that this is a bigger Dynasty Warriors game than most other games that they may know from the franchise. Because, like, I have friends who, when they play a Warriors game, it's because of the IP that it's tied to. So, like, I have a friend who's really big into Fire Emblem, so he plays all of the Fire Emblem Warriors games and played the Hyrule Warriors games. But I also have a friend who's, like, really big into Otome and stuff like that, so she's playing the Pokenrambu Warriors. And she's interested in playing Origins because her favorite voice actor in Japanese voices Ziluan. Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he rarely speaks.
Yeah, I know. He voiced Joker in Persona 5, and
same thing.
And, like, when I first saw Ziluan, it was like, oh, are they going to, like, I see where they're going with this character. They want to make him like Joker in Persona 5. I mean, he's also wearing all black. You know?
Yeah.
Just find that kind of interesting.
A little on the nose. But,
Mighty the Loot.
like, I need to, just convince these people to finally give it a try, because since I have a review code, my copy is digital, but I did buy a physical copy, so I could get the pre-order bonus. And then, Bushin Ryukat, one of the viewers, on the channel, donated so that I could buy the Treasure Box edition. So now I have 2 physical copies that I can lend out to people. And nobody is taking me up on that offer.
And, like, in regards to Dead series as well, since I'm really feeling, oh, Dead, to me, that's just your opinion. A Dead series is where the if a comedy doesn't do anything with it, it's dead. And here's my rebuttal to that. Then what? Like, is it like, if a series is dead, but people still play them, why does it matter?
Yeah. Like
I give
the company can say it's dead, but the fans can be like, watch me.
I give another example. Since we're talking about Nintendo earlier, F-Zero.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is F-Zero?
There's 0 F-Zero.
Exactly. I was at a local Nintendo community gathering yesterday, and we had a discussion about GameCube. They bring GameCube games. We had like a GameCube play night, and
Nice.
I just realized the last F-Zero game that we got was on the GameCube, F-Zero GX.
Yep. Wait,
That was
the
20 plus
last
years
one?
ago. I think that was
thought
the last official
Game Boy
F-Zero.
Advance one came out after.
At this point, I'm missing everyone's lore, especially Chris and Profile. Yeah, Captain Falcon's my good. Yeah, the only time we see Captain Falcon is on a Smash game.
Yep. He's a Smash character now. He's not an F-Zero character.
Yeah, come on, like now the Nintendo Switch 2 is here. Why can't Nintendo? We actually got a Metroid Prime 4. I think it's about time to have a new F-Zero game. It's been long overdue. Same goes with Star Fox. The last Star Fox game we got, well, it's actually not it's actually not as long as F-Zero. The last one we got was on the Wii U.
Yep.
But yeah, it's time to bring back Star Fox and F-Zero.
God.
Now, despite not having new games, is it dead by the in terms of company company's term? Yeah. But to players of Nintendo like myself, F-Zero is never truly dead. It's still there. What?
There's a bunch of fan games of F-Zero out there, and if I'm gonna be honest, do you remember a game called Fast Racing Neo or Fast RMX?
Yes, it was on the Wii.
Fast Racing
There's one on the
was
Wii U.
on
Sorry.
Wii U, and Fast RMX is kind of like a remixed version on Switch. And I'm so surprised because that game is only on Nintendo consoles. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't been like, you know what, you guys make good futuristic racers, make an F-Zero.
Yeah, true.
Nintendo, you don't need to make it yourself. Just find someone who's going to be good enough to make it. I mean, Retro Studio was good enough to make Donkey Kong.
Retro Studio. What else did? Other developers working on Nintendo IPs?
Koei Tecmo helped out with
Pokemon.
Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that's gotta be one of the best Fire Emblems out there.
Hyrule Warriors as well, right? It's fully developed by Koei Tecmo or Omega Force.
Yeah. It was fully developed by Koei Tecmo because Team Ninja helped with the first one.
I see. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of futuristic racing,
God, that's such a good game.
my God. Yeah, and that's that's an IP Capcom kind of forgot for almost 30 years.
Yep. Chelsea has like a $300 Morgan figure that's still in the box.
Oh yeah, Morgan is not a Darkstalker character now. She's a Marvel vs. Capcom character.
Oh.
And you know what's interesting about Morgan is that Morgan is not even the protagonist of Darkstalker. He's not even like the poster.
Yeah.
Well, she is the more popular character, but in Street Fighter, the hero or the protagonist is Ryu.
Yeah.
Right? In Darkstalkers, the actual protagonist is Dimitri.
Yep.
But other than his own game, other than Darkstalker series, Dimitri is never shown in other Capcom games. Like whenever you have this big collab project, whether it's Marvel vs. Capcom, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, or Project X Zone, it's always Morgan.
Yep. Always.
Either
always win.
her or Felicia.
Yes. Again, the tits always win.
Yeah. People kind of forgot. Oh, they all know who Morgan is, but a lot of people don't know where she came from.
Yeah.
If they
don't even know who Dimitri is.
Exactly.
Who's this Dracula motherfucker?
Dimitri.
Give
Hell,
me my succubus.
even the villain.
And then if you show
even
them
the villain
Lilith, they'll
of
probably be like, "Oh, is this Morgan but young?"
Yeah. Is this like a petite Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah, either Morgan or Felicia. Hell, the villain in Darkstalker in Darkstalkers, Jeddah, is more popular than Dimitri.
I'm trying to think, like, what are some other games where, like, the main character is the least, or one of the least well-known characters in the series?
Yeah, the only one I can think of is Darkstalkers. Legitimately, because you mentioned it, Navir. Another fighting game series.
Oh, Bloody
Rival
Roar.
Schools. That's another one. Oh, Bloody Roar.
Yeah. Have you played Bloody Roar?
Yes, I love Bloody Roar, and the last Bloody Roar we got was Bloody Roar 4 on like back in 2004.
Yeah, like, we need a new Bloody Roar. That game was so much fun. I played so much of Extreme on Xbox.
Bloody Roar is owned by Hudson, which now owned by Konami, by the way.
Yep. So
technically, if
kind of unlikely to see it. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
yeah, I would love to. You know, people again, Bloody Roar, despite being a dead series, people still talk about it. People still talk about how good Bloody Roar 3 was in PS4. Like, so Bloody Roar 3 had two variations on different consoles. In GameCube, it's called Primal Fury, and in Xbox, it's called Extreme.
Yeah. But was it all the same game, or was it all just... I think there were some slight differences between Primal...
there are some slight differences.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Primal, that's another game that I find not a lot of people talk about, but they did port it to PS4. It was a PS2 game. I don't know if you've ever
Battle Arena
heard of
Tashinen.
it. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know Primal. Battle Arena Tashinen, Bushido Blade, Rival Schools. Technically, Dynasty Warriors 1 as that was fighting game Japan, and it's Shinmu. So it's like, how do I want to mention one more game. I had it on top of my head. What was it called? Oh yeah. So it's not a big game, but Capcom. I kind of have like this glimmer of hope that Basak has the chance to come back, because Capcom actually announced a new Okami game. So a game that, you know, a lot of people did not expect to have a sequel.
Yeah.
And a new Onimusha game. Again, the last Onimusha game that we got was exactly 20 years ago, 2006, Onimusha Dawn of Dreams.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about that one. I played the shit out of the first and the third one. Played a little bit of the second one. Played the absolute hell out of Blade Warriors. Never played the... Oh god, well...
Dawn of Dreams?
Yes.
The fourth game? That was actually, in my opinion, that was actually the
Dawn of
best
the
one.
Samurai, but that's Genji.
Dawn of the Samurai, yeah. That was actually like, Dawn of Dreams, in my opinion, is actually the best one in the series.
Oh, I'll have to give it a try then.
I think you should try it, yeah.
I've been wanting to get back into, like, Onimusha, like, all of those other, like, classic games. I've been having a big PS2 itch lately.
Yeah, same. Well, me personally, I have a big Nintendo itch lately.
I had that earlier, because I had a little phase where I would get high and just binge watch Scott the Woz stuff, so he talks a lot about Nintendo, so I'd be like, oh god, I really want to play Mario Kart. So that was kind of my Nintendo kick for a little bit.
Yeah.
Dawn of Dreams, the one with the French guy. No, that's or at least the third one has.
That's the third one.
French
Yeah,
guy.
that's Demon Siege. Onimusha 3 Demon Siege.
Jacques.
Jacques. Played by the legend himself, Jean Reno.
Yeah, I love that they used his look, because, goddamn, that was such a good game.
Not only Okami is coming back, but Hideki Kamiya is going to be directing. Yeah, exactly. I've been saying this, Chris, ever since COVID. You know what this decade is? This decade the 2020s is the decade of nostalgia, comebacks, and
Yeah.
all those things. Like, I made a joke like, hey, yeah, the 90s and 2000s called. They want their decade back.
Yeah, like this is the era where like the millennials are starting to get super nostalgic about all the stuff that they grew up with. Like we kind of had that happen with a lot of other series from like the 80s, like back in the 2010s. Now it's time for the 90s. Because like we had the
exactly.
Transformers movies, we had what else? There was a lot of like reboots and stuff from older series before, but now it's like the big popular 90s and early 2000s stuff. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see new metal come back. I mean, Limp Bizkit was the opening to the Devil May Cry anime, so that's gotta spark something.
Yeah, exactly. And where was I? It's not just in video games. It happens as well in other media. Like you said, music. You said anime as well. Like for example, you know we're getting a Ranma before even Ranma. There's Urusei Yatsura remake.
Yes, I want cake batter.
Yeah, you know, there was Urusei Yatsura remake, and then there's a Ranma remake. Now we are getting a Hell Teacher Nube remake.
Oh my god.
And even like not just remakes, sequels of long existing anime. Like when COVID hit, they announced Yashahime.
Yep.
Which unfortunately didn't turn out as good as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
What else they got?
I watched the first 3 episodes and then I was like, yeah, this is okay.
I actually watched everything like from start to finish because I had some like glimmer of hope with that show, but it ended up being underwhelming, and not because like people compared. Oh, is it like Boruto? No, it's not like in Boruto, because my issue with Yashahime is how it's how they didn't build like the story that they're building up, or the story that they start up with. Like, how do I say it? Here's the thing about Inuyasha. Inuyasha has a clear beginning, middle, and end, and everything is tied really well together.
Yeah.
Right? Everything just ties really well together. But with Yashahime, despite having less number of episodes, it's like when you watch the beginning, middle, and end are so disconnected with each other.
Yeah, like that's the unfortunate thing about like trying to continue an IP that is supposed to be done. I don't know. Have you watched the show Scrubs?
Scrubs? No.
It's a sitcom
Unfortunately.
set in like a hospital, and season 8 was supposed to be the ending of the whole series. Like it literally ends with the main character leaving the hospital to like start a new life kind of thing. I forget the exact details because it's been a while since I've watched it, but NBC, the channel that it was on, was like, no, this has good ratings. Make us another season. And they were like, no, we don't want to. It's done. What are we going to do? It's called Scrubs, and the guy is not going to be working at the hospital anymore. And they're like, I don't know, figure it out. So they introduced a whole new cast of characters.
Appreciate your business.
Did it in a way where it's like the main character of the original series is training the new main character. So it's like you have that transition period.
I'll be here if you need me.
It was not good. To say the least, it was not good. They tried to have the same sort of stuff, like all of the different tropes that Scrubs was known for. They tried to carry that over with the new characters, but no, it wasn't going to happen. And season 9 is the worst season. Like it's not bad, but it's nowhere near the same quality level as the rest of the series, because they mixed comedy with very serious topics because it's a hospital.
Example of suffering from success.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really suffering from success. It's just kind of like, okay, you're already done with this. What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do when it's after it's done?
It's suffering
it's like
from
milking.
God. Yeah, milking is probably the better term, and it's not even like the showrunners trying to milk the show. It's the company that provides the resources for the show that's milking it, being like, well, we're making money off of it, so you have to do more.
And like certain stories, like here's the thing, some stories, some IPs can be. Oh, before that, you mentioned Higurashi. I kind of want to see a proper adaptation of Umineko. If you guys know Higurashi, you most likely know Mineko no Nakukorori. We had an anime back in the day, but it's not a full adaptation, and it's kind of compared to Higurashi. But I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to see a proper full adaptation of Umineko no Nakukorori. Since you mentioned Higurashi, so certain IPs I feel like can be milked because you don't have a fixed timeline or fixed story. For example, Marvel and DC, you can do Marvel and DC anytime, anywhere, and whenever you want, because every story is its own story. Like every comic book, every movie has a different take of the character and the lore.
Yeah, and you don't have to necessarily follow a pre-established comic series. Like, not every superhero movie needs to be an adaptation of an already existing plot. It can just be its own individual thing. Which I feel like is one of the issues with, like, the MCU right now, is that they're trying too hard to be the comic series, which one of the things that, like, made it stand out was how unique it was without taking away the spirit of the thing that it was adapting.
That's true. Yeah, and that's why, like, I have a feeling as well, like Marvel. I feel like MCU, to me personally, there are probably some good MCU movies or series out there currently in Phase 4 and 5, but to me, MCU ended with Endgame.
Oh yeah, I would love to see them continue it on, but I think they need to drip feed it a bit more. Like, don't try to have the same level of releases that you had during Endgame, because that was a whole event. You can't always be having an event. So I think that was one of the other things that kind of led to the MCU kind of having a downfall, is that they got too overzealous.
Yeah, so like some stories have it can be rebooted, or it can be you can say can be milked with different adaptations and different take. But some stories, I feel like when it ends, it ends.
Yeah.
When it ends, maybe you can make a remake of it, but in terms of like the overall presentation, the overall story, it ends. For example, Inuyasha. To me, Inuyasha ended with the final act.
Yeah.
I don't know where you go from there. Now, if you can make a remake of Inuyasha and be a good one, like how Urusei Yatsura and Ranma does it. But in terms of like the overall story, because it's a fixed timeline. It has a clear beginning, middle, and end. So when it ends, it ends. And if you're going to do another Inuyasha project, you're probably going to do to repeat the story with probably slight alterations.
Yeah, like maybe you could do one that's focused on Sesshomaru during the same time. Like, you could do like little spin-offs, stuff like that, but to try to continue the story with the same characters where you've had an ending, you really need to be able to like make it work within the same sort of context. I would say Dragon Ball Super is probably the best example of like continuing a story that has had an ending and you're successful at it.
Dragon Ball Super, yeah. Or some argue like again. Well, you watch GT, right? You watch GT.
I watched GT. I'm of the camp that like GT isn't as bad as people make it out to be. It is not good, but it's not as bad as some people make it sound. It has some good moments and some good arcs. Baby, for example.
It seems Liu Bei has done quite well for himself.
It's kind of like how I feel like Yashahime. Like, okay, Yashahime is a different thing. It's like, is it dog shit? No, but it's pretty damn underwhelming.
Yep.
Like again, one of the issues like I said,
Perfect.
one of the issues I said was that
Is on his own now.
yeah, like here, like I talk bad. Like actually, so here's the thing. My friend gave me the Yashahime manga for my birthday, and the manga is actually came out. It came out after the anime. So when I read the first chapter of manga, they made changes, like drastic changes to the story than the anime. So it's not an adaptation of the anime. It's like a complete remake of Yashahime.
Oh. Is it better?
And it's like in the beginning parts, it is kind of better. It is better, but I'm not holding like what's the word? I'm not holding my horse, or like I'm not jumping my horse to get excited for Yashahime manga.
Yeah.
At the same time, so
I think I bought the first
about
volume.
Yashahime. Like when I talk about how it has a different like the story is kind of like very incoherent. Like I give one example in Yashahime. This is gonna be in spoiler territory since you mentioned Sesshomaru. The main characters are Sesshomaru's daughters and Inuyasha's daughter, right? Toa, Setsuna, and Moroha. So, in the early parts of the show, there's a tree who we call the tree Trikyo because the tree uses Kikyo as an avatar. I was like, oh, why are we bringing back Kikyo? Like I love Kikyo, okay? But when I first saw Kikyo in Yashahime, can she just not rest in peace? Why is she like? Can we not have this woman rest? Yeah, why are we bringing back Kikyo again? Like, I know she's not the actual Kikyo; she's an avatar, but it was like, oh god, dude, let her rest in peace. It's like, so Trikyo said to the girls that, oh, you have to defeat the main villain of the show, Kirimaru, because Kirimaru is like a great demon of the East, Sesshomaru is the great demon of the West. So two great demons cannot clash with each other, right? So he must be defeated by someone who is not a demon, but not a human. This means half demons, right? And so they established that they also progressed the story with the girls training to defeat Kirimaru. And how did it end? Kirimaru was defeated by Sesshomaru. An established rule in the beginning where you said he cannot be defeated by someone who is equal than him, by Sesshomaru. So why are we breaking our own, like, that's the thing, why are we breaking our own lore here? Why are we breaking our established plot? Yeah, exactly. Why are we breaking your own plot in the beginning? Like, you made a big deal about that in the beginning and the middle, only for you to end it the way you do not want it to be. Like, I would have loved Yashahime more if they have a consistent, if they're more consistent with their story. And speaking of, like, here's the thing with Yashahime, I love some aspect. I mean, my avatar is Takechiyo from Yashahime, like that Tanuki fellow. He's from Yashahime. He's basically now. Again, this is the best way I can explain it. He's basically Yashahime's version of Shippo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because when I tried to find
better
a PNG of him to put in the thumbnail, I looked. Essentially, what I did is I reversed image searched your avatar or your profile picture on YouTube, and I found the character's name, searched for a transparent PNG, and I was like, okay, so he's from Yashahime. That makes sense. I wonder if he's kind of the shippo of this series. Apparently, I was right.
And he is, yeah, he's the shippo of Yashahime. And fun fact, his name Takechio was derived from Ieyasu's younger name, Takechio, because Tokugawa Ieyasu, his real name was Takechio. And Ieyasu's, Ieyasu's nickname, like, just like Hideyoshi is the monkey, Ieyasu's nickname was the tanuki.
Yep. Oh, excuse me. Speaking of Ieyasu with the oh my god, the Tanuki nickname. How do you feel about his design in Sengoku Basara?
Okay, I didn't like it at first because I'm so used at looking Ieyasu as a fat middle-aged man from the Samurai Warriors, right? But then as time goes by, I was like, wow, Ieyasu is pretty damn cool in Sengoku Basara. He's a fist fighter. So Ieyasu has two designs, by the way.
Yeah, he's
his
got
Basara
a younger
3
design.
Yeah,
like,
Takechio. That was him as Takechio.
Yeah, from like Sengoku Basara 1 and 2. And then he got the new design, the more sexy design in 3.
Yeah, he looks great in 3, and he plays great as well. He's a fist fighter. Though I wasn't crazy at first because Ieyasu is a fist fighter, and he's one of the 3 unifiers of Japan, and the other unifier of Japan, Sengoku Basara, is also a fist fighter.
Yeah, but they are 2 different fist fighters, whereas
of course
Hideyoshi is more of a grappler. Plus, you
basically
love, Ieyasu's the Ryu outfit in Sumeragi, or 4, I guess, just in general.
The what?
Ieyasu, he has a Ryu from Street Fighter costume in Sengoku Basara 4.
Ryu, amazing, yeah. He looks great in that outfit. I also like. He also has his school outfit from Gakuen Basara in Basara 4.
I do think with all the crossover costumes, they had a massive missed opportunity to give Tadakatsu a Nemesis costume.
Yeah. Like there's some possible costumes that they could have done in Basara 4. Like they could have put Lady from DMC for Magoichi, because Magoichi is technically Lady.
Yeah.
They could have put a Nero costume for Yukimura.
Yeah.
There was also another one that I was talking about last year in Basara. What costume I do want to see, or they could have put in. Nobunaga's Onimusha costume could have been put in Basara Nobunaga.
And I guess. I just lost it. I had one in the back of my head, and then it's just gone.
Yeah, like that's what I said, like about Sengoku Basara. Since we're talking about Basara, I find it really interesting that despite being the more niche series, Capcom actually like put a lot of effort, or like put a lot of care into Basara, in terms of like promotional materials, in terms of presentation. More so, like again, here comes Profar dick riding Basara again. Here comes Profar's bias in Sengoku Basara. Like when I say, oh, Profar is just biased in Sengoku Basara. Yeah, right. That and I use a line from Paul Heyman in WWE. He said, "I might be biased, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong." I mean, I might be biased to Basara, but that doesn't mean I'm like when I said Capcom feels like they like, considering it's Capcom, they're the bigger company, but they feel like I feel like Capcom has a lot more promotion, like a lot more care in terms of presentation and promotional materials in Seigo Basa more so than Koei. Like, I actually checked out Capcom's Japanese YouTube channel, and I saw a lot of like promotional material. So you know, in Basara, you have outfit from New Japan Pro Wrestling. You have wrestlers' costumes in Seigo Basara 4. They actually had the wrestlers themselves promoting the game, like doing like promotional material in videos. And then I also looked at for Basara 4 and Yukimura. Then they actually had behind the scenes how they how they choreographed the combat for the game. And when I look at these things, I was like, why can Koei do this? I would love to see more behind the scenes stuff for Dynasty Warriors, for Warriors Orchi.
Yeah.
More promotional materials. It's just like Koei's kind of like weird when it comes to like their behind the scenes stuff. I don't know how do I explain this. Is that whenever a big game like a popular series, even like how do I say it? It's always interesting to see behind the scenes stuff from your popular games. And I'm glad that when I'm doing these Basara videos, I got to see a lot behind the scenes stuff from their games, even from their animes by production IGs. It just made me wonder, it just makes me wonder, why can't I find these materials from the better known title, so to speak, in Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah. Like, I find Koei Tecmo kind of runs its business like a mom and pop kind of business, where they just put their stuff out, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just move on, kind of thing. And I feel like Koei doesn't understand that they're a AAA company. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
They don't know how
some
big
people,
they are.
Some people even argue, like, there was like, I remember there was like this debate, or like in Dynasty Warriors server, whether Koei Tecmo is a AAA company or not.
Yeah. I would argue that they are, because, like, if you think about AAA is usually just like, is it well known enough to be considered AAA? Is the biggest thing. And if you think about some of the IPs that Koei Tecmo has under their belt, they've got Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Nobunaga's Ambition, Dynasty Warriors. And that's just 5 right there.
Atelier.
Very iconic in their own spheres, yes, but still iconic games. Like, Ninja Gaiden was name dropped in The fucking Wizard.
And we're getting a new Ninja Gaiden game, by the way, Ninja Gaiden 4, after so many years.
I can't wait, man. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was such a nice little surprise.
Koei Tecmo feels more like a AA company with a budget of AAA. In a way, it is.
Yeah, they're not. They don't consider themselves. I don't think they consider themselves.
No, they do. Because here's the thing, Chris. Sorry to cut you out. You know the new. They have a new studio developing the Hyrule Warriors game, and it's not Omega Force. It's literally called AAA Studio. Literally in the nose. AAA Studio.
Yeah. Well, I think they think that they're a AAA company in Japan, but not outside of Japan. I think that's how they see themselves. Which is why, like, for a while there, we didn't get many games from Koei Tecmo in the West. It stayed in Japan. Samurai Warriors 3 on PS3. Warriors Orochi Z being a big one that I am disappointed that we never got. All of the Ruby Party games that we never got. And probably never will, because Token Rambu Warriors didn't sell well.
Is there no way for us?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, despite, like I said, Capcom, despite Seigo Basa being the lesser-known title, they showed a lot more care to the series than Koei with Dynasty or Samurai Warriors. Like how they promote their, games, how they have collaboration with other IP, other Capcom IP, how they collaboration with New Japan Pro Wrestling, They even have like grade A musicians working on Sengubasa. TM Revolution,
Yeah.
right? TM Revolution is pretty much the voice of Sengoku Basara. I say like why Koei has that ability to do that in my opinion, but I don't know why they're not doing it.
Yeah.
They kind of just like let's we already know this and like let's not show. It's also the thing with Koei. I've noticed that they tend to shadow drop a lot of their games.
Very well done. It's kind of cute seeing you in
Yeah,
action.
I was surprised that Warriors Abyss was a shadow drop. I feel like it should have at least been oh hey, we've been working on this for the last few years. It's gonna come out in a few months kind of thing. Like it's a new-ish sub-series or spin-off. Like it's not something that should have been shadow dropped. Like I understand shadow dropping ports to other consoles like Samurai Warriors 4 DX being shadow dropped. I understand that to an extent. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black should not have been a shadow drop.
Oh, absolutely. They should have promote that shit like crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like that also kind of oh.
Lemon curd.
Ooh.
Oh, hello. I'm just saying, hi, Chelsea. I'm Profar.
Profar says hi.
Hello.
Hello. Because you Chris mentioned you a lot, you know, so yeah, and then you're here. I you can hear my voice, so I just say hello.
Oh, they can't hear your voice. I've got
okay.
these headphones on.
Oh, okay. She can hear me. My bad. There's a theater. Yeah, there's a theater crossover between Basa and Devil May Cry. Yeah, there's stage plays for Basa, and that's the thing. Yeah, I do want to talk about Basara because I'm doing Basara content right now. Segu Basara might be the lesser known series in terms of video games, but Sengoku Basara to me is transitioned more than just a video game series. It became a pop culture icon in Japan.
It's a multimedia franchise. Like I would say that Sengoku Basara is more popular as an anime in the West than it is as a video game.
But in
And
Asia, it's popular.
I feel like in the West, like especially in North America, they did not promote the video game, but I remember seeing so much about the anime and the manga. Like I didn't even know for the longest time that Sengoku Basara 3 was released in English on the Wii in North America. I thought it was just on PS3 for quite some time because I knew it came out on PS3 because being a part of the Musou community. But like,
yeah, so
I saw
Basara
next to no kind of advertisement, no marketing in North America for it. So, like, Capcom didn't try to do it justice, at least in North America, which I feel was part of the reason that it failed.
And also, like, Capcom didn't really give the best first impression for Basa with Devil Kings. So there's that.
They 4Kids the hell out of that.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's why first impression is important, you know? First impression is everything. So, and going back to, like, the topic, like I said, that Sengoku Basara is more as a multimedia franchise than Koei, especially in Japan and in Asia. And when I talk about, like, Capcom putting effort, as I, like, by the way, if you haven't checked my channel, guys, check my channel. I'm doing Basara content in depth.
Yes,
like,
do it.
You mentioned Basara 3. You mentioned Basara 3. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that when they developed Basara 3, when Capcom developed Basara 3, they also had their engine, right? They had their built-in in-house engine called MT Framework. Now, MT Framework was built to run games for the 7th generation console, Xbox 360 and PS3. However, when Basara 3 came out, they wanted to port that game for the Wii, because the Wii was outselling both PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Right? However, the Wii was not as powerful as PS3 or Xbox 360. So you know what Capcom did? Capcom actually made their own engine just to run Basara 3 on the Wii. That's how dedicated. Yeah, that's how dedicated they were with Sengoku Basara. And not to mention, like after Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, the series boomed. As in, like it became an icon. So they want to invest on Sengoku Basara. They wanted to invest on Sengoku Basara despite being the lesser known title than Dynasty Warriors. Like I said, they went as far as creating a variation of their MT framework engine just to run Basara on the Wii. And when you play Basara 3 on the Wii, it runs just as good as the PS3. Something that I cannot say for Samurai Warriors 3.
Oh man, Samurai Warriors 3 on Wii. God fucking damn it. I hate
runs
that
like
that's
ass.
the only fucking version we got. Also, like, I have to speak my gripe about how fucking easy it is to find Sengoku Basara merch and how absolutely like impossible it is to find Musou merch.
Yes, and you know, my friend Morphe, Filipino VTuber, great guy by the way. He mentioned that as well when he was having a vacation in Japan. Like, he said, I don't know why Capcom is not releasing more Sengoku Basara games, because he told me Basara franchise, like Basara merch was everywhere when he was in Tokyo.
Yep.
Yet it's hard to find. Yeah, it's hard to find Sengoku Musou or Shin Sengoku Musou merch in its own country.
Yep. Like, I'm just gonna grab. Can I grab it? Oh. I found this MusouMay Nendoroid at a local pawn shop in PEI.
Damn. Damn.
And
okay, try finding.
I have not found a single thing Musou other than just the games themselves in any store here. Like all of the figures that I've got of the different characters, they were all bought off of like eBay or AmiAmi or something. Like they were all bought online.
Exactly. Yet people call me crazy for saying, "Oh, Basara, like nobody knows Basara." Yeah, tell that. Yeah, tell that to people. Tell that to Asian people. Like, in fact, I mentioned that as well here. Most people are more familiar with Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes than any of the Koei Tecmo Musou games. Whenever they see a game like this, right? Whenever they see a Musou game where it's 1 versus 1,000, they will not say, "Oh, this is just like Dynasty Warriors." They will say, "Oh, this is just like Sengoku Basara."
Yeah, and Orion Gold mentioned the Wang Yuanji figure. I'm not gonna try to grab that. There's stuff on top of it, but I've got that Wang Yuanji figure. There was also a Naotora figure, and like actually, I've got the Yukimura figure from Samurai Warriors 1. This came with the treasure box of Samurai Warriors 1. And then
that looks good.
There's also this Dynasty Warriors 5 Lu Bu that came with 5 Extreme Legends treasure box. So like there
fun
are
fact,
some figures, but they are fucking hard to find. Like I was lucky I found that Lu Bu on AmiAmi for like $25. And like the lowest price for a listing on eBay at the time was $80. So I bought that the instant I saw it. Also because like, when is the next time I'm gonna find a Lu Bu figure?
Capcom should do a spiritual success. By the way, Orion, a lot of people who watch me said
would be pretty awesome.
Some people on my server and my community said similar thing. Like, imagine if Capcom created a Sangoku Basara.
Yep, I was.
It's like
just
Basara,
thinking.
but with the 3 kingdoms.
You know what? They should pick up where Koei kind of fumbled and do one based in like Greece.
So here's the thing: when people said, "Oh, Basara is not good," is because they're not as historically accurate as Dynasty or Summer Wars because people play these games to understand more in history. I call bullshit. And here's the funny part. Here's the irony part. When I was researching for the Sengoku Basara 3 video, I found out that because of Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, there is a boom in historical tourism in Japan.
Yeah. Between
There was like
that, well, there's a lot of historical elements in a lot of different Japanese media, and I feel like that is one of the things that draws people to Japanese history and stuff, because like Nobunaga was name dropped in Inuyasha. He was
exactly.
It was funny because he wasn't Nobunaga Oda, he was Oda Nobunaga.
It's Amari Nobunaga. The Nobunaga, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was mentioned about like in my video is that Sengoku Basara, like I was doing my research on Sengoku Basara 3. Sengoku Basara 3, sorry, Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes actually sparked a boom in Japanese tourism, specifically in Shiroishi City, the hometown of Katakura Kojuro, because Basara 2 Heroes poster boy is Kojuro, right? So it also sparked an interest on Sengoku Jidai in Japan from people in Japan and also outside of Japan. So when people say, "Oh, Basara is bad because it takes it's not as historically accurate lore like in Summer Wars," like think about that for a second. The game where it throws historical accuracy out the window actually sparked more historical interest than the game that is more historically accurate. Think about that.
Yeah, like I think the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you maintain certain things. Like
Exactly.
I watched like the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of the Three Kingdoms SD Gundam anime. And I had to turn it off because, like, I was expecting it to be somewhat historically accurate. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be to a T, but, at least follow the general Three Kingdoms story. No. It's... Oh. Whoops, I failed. But it starts with Liu Bei in his castle with Ma Chao, Huang Zhang, and one other Shu officer. So he had 3 Shu officers, Guan Yu and Zheng Fei, nowhere in sight. And same with Zhao Yun. So it starts with Liu Bei already knowing Ma Chao, Huang Zhang, and a third Shu officer. And I can't remember who it was.
Is it Jian Yong, maybe? Is it Jian Yong? Because I know Jian Yong joined Liu Bei long before Zhao Yun.
No, these were all characters that would have joined, like, after Chebi. Because, like, Ma Chao and Huang Zhang were not a part of Shu until after. So I can't remember who that other one was. But it was set during the Yellow Turban times.
I see.
So I was thrown a little too off by that. Continue watching it, but I do feel like I would give it another try. Just because, like, I don't think that you have to be historically accurate. You just need to at least maintain a few things, like certain relationships, certain tropes from the history. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You have to make sure that
make them cool.
Ieyasu and Mitsunari are rivals of some sort. You have to make sure that Nobunaga is at least maniacal in some way, chaotic, something. Like, it has to be some sort of dark element to him.
Oh, Mr. Man. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I find the beauty of Sengoku Basara is that Capcom's mentality with Sengoku Basara is that, oh, we have these characters, right? We have these characters from the Sengoku Jidai. Let's take their historical context and make them over the top,
Yeah.
right? So that people can. Oh, the reason why they want to do that is that they want people to invest.
This.
Yeah, they want people to invest. Like Capcom games prior to Sengoku Basara, their appeal was difficulty. Their appeal, like Resident Evil, Onimusha, Dino Crisis, their appeal was the challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Devil May Cry. But they wanted to make a game where people, it's a little bit more easy to get into. You know, it's a little bit more easy. Exactly, and their mentality is like, okay, what can we replace? Can we replace difficulty for the appeal? You know, what makes people constantly come back to these games? Okay, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
How? What's the best replacement for difficulty in terms of appeal? So their concept was that, okay, characters. People can invest in these games, or people can, how to say it, immerse themselves in the games if you make good characters. So how do we make good characters out of historical figures? Now we already did, like Koei already did it with Samurai Warriors, right? And how they portray them. So they feel like, okay, how about we make these characters and take these historical figures, take their historical context, and make them over the top. I give one example. Masamune. Masamune, like, when you look at Basara Masamune, you know he's very distinguished. Like, you know, oh, this guy's like, you know what makes Masamune Masamune. Oh, you know, his blue armor, his eye patch, and then he has 6 swords, and sometimes he speaks English. You know, are you ready, guys?
Yeah,
and
like that was
there's a reason why.
That, I don't know how they would be able to, but it's kind of disappointing that we miss out on that aspect of his character and personality, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, when I was like doing my research on on Basara videos, I understand why they made Masamune that way in terms of his historical context, right?
Yeah.
So Masamune was the first Japanese lord to conduct trade or conduct political relationship with people outside of Japan. So he went out of his way to send people outside of Japan. Like he went out of his way to send his men to the Vatican and meet the Pope there, because Masamune actually had contacts with the Pope. So because he went out of his way to conduct political relationship outside of Japan, so Capcom was like, okay, how about we make him speak English?
Yeah.
Are you ready, guys? Right? See, the historical context made fun, you know, turn into something unique and creative. And why is Masamune using 6 swords? Because his nickname is the Dragon of Oshu. The 6 swords that he has is as if it's a dragon claw.
Yeah.
He even has a stage. That's another so that's another aspect that I showed to my friends who are not familiar with Basara, but they are familiar with Dynasty Musou games, like Koei Musou games. When they play Basara for the first time, and they notice, like, first of all, the stages are shorter. The stages are designed not like a big battlefield. It's designed more arcade style, right?
Yeah, and
it has a clear start and a beginning.
They're usually not necessarily more linear, where it's like point A to B, but you have like a couple of different paths you can take, but it is all the paths have a linear start and finish. It's not like Musou games where you have this large battlefield and there's not really a like path to take necessarily.
However, what he noticed is that even though the stages are linear, but stages match the character.
Yes.
Stages match the boss that you're fighting. It's like Capcom
like
created
Fighter,
battlefields.
The
exactly
different stages that are specific to that character. It represents their personality and everything.
For example, Masamune's stage, Oshu. Oshu, like if you play Basara 3, it's a horse race, right? But when you look at the design of the stage, it has dragon statues, it has dragon, like it has like a mechanic. It has like a dragon-like robot that shoots fire. Basically, it has a dragon themed stage, which tells me that this is Masamune's stage. Or if you go to Nobunaga's stage, for example, Azuchi Castle, it feels like a Devil May Cry Dracula-esque castle because it matched Nobunaga as a character. And that's the thing with Basara, is that whatever Capcom does for everything that they did for Basara revolves around the characters.
Yeah, and like they even have their own theme songs and stuff. Whereas
Exactly.
like Pangda and Wang Yi and Jashu got their, or not Jashu, Guojia all got their own theme song, but it's only used in 7 Extreme Legends. Lu Bu has his
And it's not
theme
just that.
song, and all of the Dynasty Warriors 1 characters have their theme song from Dynasty Warriors 1, but they never use it.
And it's not just that, Chris. If you play Basara, whenever the character dies, they have a death animation, a unique death animation. For example, Masamune's death animation when he dies is that he pulls out his sword and then he falls down. Matsunaga Hisahide's death animation, he blew himself up. He blows himself. Like he went out with a bang. He come out with a bang. Like that's the thing. Like some people say Sengoku Basara is simplistic. So like here's the thing. One of my motivations, one of my reasons to make Basara videos is because of one comment saying Sengoku Basara is simplistic. I end up making an entire series of video just to show people that it is not simplistic as this guy, as this one person was saying. And then when I make I made a combat showcase, right? If you remember, I'm showcasing the combat of Sengoku Basara 4 and how it's in depth. And some of the comments saying that, how the fuck does people say Sengoku Basara is simplistic with this, the way I showed this video, and then people like, dude, how in the world did some people say Sengoku Basara is simplistic?
Yeah, like you could do that with almost any game, and a lot of people who say that anything is simplistic, they just don't put themselves in the shoes of the creators to understand. Because like even like being a metalhead, anything new metal is usually looked down upon. But you think about it, a lot of the things that make new metal so interesting to people who enjoy new metal as musicians, who understand like the different musical theory and stuff, like a lot of the second wave of new metal stuff, like Seven Dust, Disturbed, that sort of stuff, where it starts to embody more of the melodic post-grunge stuff. Like that is using the melodic, more legato kind of singing with very staccato, palm muted guitars and basses and stuff, and people will still go, oh well, it's simplistic because it's just like, you know, a beat being strummed on an open E string or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, but if you think about it, what's the tempo? What's the beat that they're strumming versus the tempo and beat of the main melody? Is there a counter melody? Because usually there's vocal harmonies going on, and especially if you listen to something like Seven Dust, they have a lot of counter melodies because they've got 3 singers, I think, altogether between the band. So like, even thinking about Dynasty Warriors, a lot of people would be like, oh well, it's the same, press square, that's all you have to do in any game. And it's like, well, obviously no, there's a lot of different mechanics that go into play. And yes, if you just go and play the game casually, it is just press square to win. But if you want to go for 100% completion, there's way more than just pressing square involved.
Yeah,
and it's that
and that's
level
the thing.
of depth that people don't think about when they look at something that they don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. And if you play Sengoku Basara, especially 3 and 4, like you notice that the command inputs is not just square or triangle. They have so many
Yeah.
command inputs in that game, and the fact that you can chain combos multiple moves just goes to show like how, again, like you said, Chris, Capcom is like, not only they made Devil May Cry, but they made Street Fighter, so they know how combos work in an action game
Yeah.
a lot better than Koei. And another thing is that one of the things that people argue with me is that why Dynasty and Summer Wars is a lot better than Basai, because you don't use any strategy in Seigo Basai, you just fight enemies. And I was like, yeah, tell me how much strategy you use when you play Dynasty Warriors.
Like, maybe if you're going for like the rare weapons, but God, if I'm just grinding away trying to level up my characters, I'm usually doing something else at the same time. Like listening to a podcast, watching videos.
Same, exactly.
Hell, like I used to exercise while I played Dynasty Warriors, because I, like, back when I lived with my parents in my bedroom, I had an elliptical type thing, so I would get on that and run while playing Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I'm not saying Seigo Basai is a strategic game. I never claim it is. But when I
There's
say
a
it has more
certain
depth, I'm
element if you're going for certain challenges.
And here's another fun fact. In Sengoku Basara 4, you actually get better rewards for performing combos. It's kind of like Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
If you perform more combos, like more variation of combos, you get better rewards.
Now, staying on the topic of like Musou-like games, have you played 99 Nights?
Man, I want to, but that game is Xbox 360 exclusive.
Yeah.
I watched Lighty though. I watched Lighty play that game. I wish I could run it on a Xenia emulator, but yeah, Xbox. I never own any Xbox consoles, unfortunately, and because Xbox isn't really that popular here.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox isn't very popular anywhere, especially right now. But the first one specifically is surprisingly good for a new outing of sorts, especially if you look into the development team. Because, like, most of the game developers are, like, their experience has nothing to do with hack and slash or action games. I'm pretty sure one of the main developers, producers, or whatever, his biggest game was Lumines, or something along those lines.
It's from Korea, right? It's made by a Korean developer, I do believe.
Yeah, and like I think the main artist or the head artist worked on Kingdom Under Fire. That's why a lot of the designs look very similar to that game series.
Another Xbox exclusive, Kingdom Under Fire.
There are PC ports of some games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Heroes and Crusaders is on Steam. I think Circle of Fire.
Oh yeah, Kingdom
is
Under
the
Fire,
only
Heroes,
one,
and
that's Xbox exclusive.
yeah, all two Heroes and the Crusaders.
Yeah.
A game I've been wanting to try, but unfortunately it's stuck as an Xbox 360 exclusive.
Yeah.
Is the second one any good though? 99 Nights 2?
It's different. It's not as Musou in design, but has Musou elements. Like, there are some stage that, you know, you could be like, oh yeah, this is a peak Musou, like, aesthetic. But it doesn't run as well as the first 99 Nights. There's less characters. It just feels it feels more hollow, is how I would put it. Like, it's not a bad game, but I think if it was released on a better performing console, maybe would be a good game. I feel like you can say that about anything released in that era, though, because like the PS3 and 360 were not powerhouses, and especially on the PS3, a lot of people didn't quite know how to program for it, so you get a lot of like inconsistent frame rates, very jaggy resolutions, muddy visuals. Yeah, Darkstalkers said it best. It underwhelming.
Hey, Morphe,
Hey.
welcome. I was
We
let's talk
dropped
about
you earlier.
I name dropped you earlier because we were talking about Basara, and I mentioned that you went to Tokyo, I do believe. You went to Tokyo, and you said it's very. So Chris said it's easier in his area. It was easier to find Basara merch than Musou merch, and it reminded me of what you said, Morphe. That when you were in Japan, when you were in Tokyo, Basara merch was everywhere. We need more Musou-like games. I've been wanting to.
1,000%.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see a Musou game for Power Rangers or Super Sentai.
Yes. Oh my God, that's been a big one. That one, Lord of the Rings, is a big one for me. I would love to see a Lord of the Rings Musou style game. Star Wars is another one that a lot of people kind of hope for to eventually see.
There were talks, by the way, about the Star Wars Musou game a couple of years ago, around the time Dynasty Warriors 9 came out.
Yeah.
I know, Orion. Kamen Rider has a Musou game, Bad Ride War.
Yeah, I've got all three games, all three Batch Ride Wars. But the first two games, I made the mistake of buying the TV Sound Edition. So when I streamed the first game, it uses music from the TV show, which is copyrights.
I know.
So
though it is the better version because I'd rather listen to music in TV shows. Hey, I know Orion. Orion here is a Kamen Rider fan. I can tell he has is that Grangio as his profile picture. So hello there, Iwai Wagamao. I'm a fan of the.
Oh God!
Like,
I'm
a fan of.
God, that would be fantastic.
Warhammer. Yeah, it's Grangio. I like Grangio has the longest henshin jingle. Kuga agito yuki fights braid. Hibiki kabuto den okiba decade. Daburu ozu foze. Wizardo gaim drive. Ghosto exedo. Birudo iwae. Kamen Rider. Grandoji. Like, it is such a long. It has such a long henshin jingle. I mean, its henshin is like its transformation sequence as well is pretty damn long. No, I'm just like I'm showing off my Toku fanboy here. No, I'm not. I'm not Malaysian, Orion. I'm Indonesian. I'm Indonesian. I'm not Malaysian. Yeah, like I haven't watched Kamen Rider for the Reiwa era. Not a lot of them. I know I keep telling myself I need to come back to them. And usually, when it comes to watching series, I usually watch series when I'm about to go to bed. But when it comes to Kamen Rider, because there's no legal way for watching them, sometimes I have to download or use a pirated streaming service, and most of them are ass to the point where, like, I'm not even gonna bother.
All right, Tantio, have a good.
I want to watch Gaff.
Good one.
All right, Tantio, I'll see you later. No, I haven't watched the Reiwa, a lot of the Reiwa series, just because their download, like the place where I used to download was taken down, and most of the pirated streaming site is kind of ass.
You know what? One series that I think would be really good for a Musou style game is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Because, like, there's so many characters that you could easily make great movesets with.
This appears to be Joe
And like
Yu's unit
he practically
deployment.
builds an army, so you have that
This
too.
exposes Joe Yu's army for us to see.
Yeah, I can see that. I know. I've seen some clips of that time I reincarnated a slime. It's like it's a fantasy setting. Like it has a fantasy setting to it, right?
Yeah. And like
Sword Art Online, Muso. Sorry,
Yeah.
you first, Chris.
I was going to say, like, it's similar to Sword Art Online. It's an isekai fantasy game, but the big difference between the two is that Sword Art Online is more about the characters specifically. Like, it's the story about the characters, whereas that time I got reincarnated as a slime starts that way, and it builds into, like, this sprawling city that the characters have built together, and it becomes more about the clan than it does the characters themselves, and that's where the Muso style can really easily come in.
Yeah. And when we talk about fantasy style, we have, Berserk Muso, we have Arslan Muso.
Oh my god!
Vinland Saga can be a Muso game as well.
Can I just say, it's such a shame
What?
that Arslan didn't perform nearly as well as it should have, because that whole series is awesome. The anime, like,
We must make haste.
the opening to the second season of that anime has an incredible banger.
Orion, you mentioned about me Malaysian. Are you Malaysian? Just curious. High school TXT for the plot. I would love to see an Inuyasha Muso game. That's one of my, that's one of my like checklists. If they want to make a Muso game, make a Muso game for Inuyasha.
The strength of an army lies in its formation. That fundamental fact does not.
Yeah,
change
I would love to
whether
see an
army or
Inuyasha
water.
Muso style game. I
Abilities
think
of a unit depend on
it would be
various
better though,
factors.
because again, like, Inuyasha is more about the characters than it is like an army. I think an action adventure game would be better. Like, you could have Muso style elements, and maybe Muso style I don't know, stages.
Maybe like because I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth lately, I can see that being an Inuyasha game, like Inuyasha game taking an action RPG route, or maybe a turn-based RPG. I mean, we have a turn-based RPG for Inuyasha, but it's not that good. It's very slow.
Yeah, I played that so much back in the day. I prefer that to Feudal Combat though, because Feudal Combat's just such a short, very small game.
When it comes to Inuyasha Combat, the best one still is Feudal Fairy Tail for the PS1. That's still the best
Yeah.
one.
100% agree.
The only like
I'll let you finish because I'm gonna completely derail this conversation.
Okay. No, I was like saying that Feudal Fairy Tail, the only one of the downside to that game is that I kind of wish they had more characters for Feudal Fairy Tail. They only have around 12 characters.
Yeah,
And like I get that at that time Inuyasha was like in like episode 70 or 80, but you can still have more characters. Like, I don't know why Kohaku is not playable in Feudal Fairy Tail. Why don't you put some of the one-off major villains like Yura, Urasue, Tsubaki, those characters, or the Thunder Brothers, the villains that where they met Shippo.
yeah, like there's definitely some characters they could have added into the mix. But what I was going to absolutely derail the conversation with, you know Dororo?
Yeah, I know Dororo.
Have you played Blood Will Tell?
I only watched my friend play Blood Will Tell. I heard it's really good. I heard, and from the gameplay I've seen, a lot of people told me that it's really damn good.
Yeah, I used to have a physical copy of that, and then I sold it to like help myself be able to buy an Xbox 360. And that game is now going for like $150 plus. And I hate myself every day for selling that.
Goddamn, like scalpers.
Yeah, I've actually like watched the newer Dororo anime and started reading the manga. Goddamn, are those two very different things? Because the original Osamu Tezuka manga was a lot more comical and lighthearted, and the anime, the newer anime, that shit is dark. Because, like, in the manga, Hyakimaru can talk to people telepathically because he's just developed that skill because he doesn't have a tongue. Because the general story, for those that don't know, this kid was... his father sold his soul to demons to, or sold his body parts, I guess you could say, to demons for the betterment of his, he was like a warlord or something, so like for the prosperity of his land. So when his son was born, he was born without eyes, no skin, no, like, a lot of his limbs and body parts were just not there. And so in the manga, he gets like these prosthetics and develops these psychic abilities that make up for everything. Whereas in the anime, he doesn't. So he doesn't speak throughout most of the anime. He can't see through most of the anime. Like, not even telepathically. And as he's killing the demons that stole his body parts, he's, like, slowly getting them back. And in the manga, it is a little painful, but it's just like a quick, oh god, that hurt. In the anime, he's, like, wrenching in pain from, like, growing his tongue back or growing his actual physical arm back and losing the prosthetic.
Damn, that's that feels like a night and day difference.
Yeah. And, like, Blood Will Tell, the way that they kind of implement it is through gameplay mechanics. So you start the game off and it's all black and white until you kill the boss demon of the first stage and you get your eyes back and then everything's in color. It's like
people. I tend to forget. By the way, about Dororo, I tend to forget that Dororo is the kid, not the guy with the prosthetics.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, the title character is the kid, not the guy with the prosthetic.
The title character is the side character.
Kind of like Legend of Zelda, Chris.
Yeah.
The main character is not Zelda. Like when I first played Ocarina of Time, I legit thought when I used to live in Melbourne, when Ocarina of Time was big. Oh, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Oh, Zelda. But they show the commercial always show Link, that to the point where I thought Link was Zelda at the time.
Everyone thought that. Same with Metroid. Everyone thought Samus's name was Metroid. I remember when the God, what was the Nintendo social media? What was it called again?
Which one?
It was like attached to the console. So like people were posting on this Nintendo social media platform being like, how do you make Metroid jump? Or how do you make Metroid crouch? I think is the big thing. And that became a meme in the Nintendo community, is how do you make Metroid crouch?
I don't remember though. Unfortunately.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to remember.
Dororo. Dororo. Yeah, it's not the guy with the prosthetics, the iconic one. It's actually the kid.
Yep. His name is Hyakimaru. Most people
Hyakimaru.
don't know that, but they know him. Like, most people who are at least familiar with Dororo as an IP would be like, oh yeah, that's Dororo. And you'd be like, nope, that's Hyakimaru.
Which one is Dororo, the kid? The same goes with people who are not familiar with Nintendo games. Whenever they say like, oh, that's Zelda. No, that's not Zelda.
Yep.
The princess is Zelda.
This should enable us to lock down the base's defenses.
Kind of goes to show you how different time periods influence. Yeah, exactly.
The front lines.
Hyakimaru was lucky that
Hyakimaru
someone
was
was compassionate enough to give him a prosthetic body. Yeah, I think the fact that he was found is the whole reason why, like, he survived, period. Because they did the whole, like, put the baby downstream kind of thing, ditch the body.
Oh, I know another example, Chris. Frankenstein monster.
Oh, yes.
Whenever they see the Frankenstein monster, they say, oh, that's Frankenstein. No, that's not Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the doctor.
Yep. Oh.
Dr. Frankenstein. It's not the monster. The monster is just... he's called the Frankenstein's monster. That means he's the monster created by Frankenstein. But Frankenstein himself was the doctor.
Yeah. Oh, another one, Rocky Horror Picture Show. A lot of people think that the Tim Curry's character is Rocky. No, that's Frankenfurter.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then who's Rocky again?
He's
I forgot.
The blonde, muscular guy that Frankenfurter is, like, infatuated with.
That's Rocky. But not Tim Curry, yeah. Exactly.
Man, there's just so much fucking waiting or, like, running around in Dynasty Warriors 9. The DLC in 9 is way better than anything in the base game.
Okay. By the way, so probably I'm gonna go out for in a couple of minutes. Because there's one more topic I would love to discuss with you. It's a topic that we talked about on Discord before I take my leave. Yep. Dynasty Warriors Origins. So, what are the updates or DLCs that you would do to apply in Dynasty Warriors Origins with its current state?
Well, we kind of touched on a couple of things earlier. Like, I think hypothetical routes would be a really good idea and a great way to introduce some of the characters and weapons that we don't have access to, like having a Ganning story for the old sword moveset, Genji for the throwing knives, Huashong for the club, and Zhuge for the war fan. So that would be like the first thing that I would really like to see, and I could see them doing a season pass. I'm surprised they haven't even announced or said like, oh yeah, we're thinking about it in any way, shape, or form.
Lumang Spike is also a weapon that's not playable in the game.
I'm pretty sure that's just Guan Yu's moveset, though.
No, it's a different moveset. I played Origins earlier. It's not the same as Guan Yu's moveset.
Isn't the normal attack the exact same, though?
No, the normal attacks are not the same. The normal attacks and some of the battle arts that enemies do with the pike is not the same with Guan Yu's. Guandao or Crescent Blade. So it's a completely different weapon.
Oh. Okay. So you've got that too then. Trying to think.
Yep.
Who are are there any other characters that use the sword? Because like I'm thinking, if you're gonna do like hypotheticals, you'll want to do just one per faction. So that's also why I picked Hua Xiong instead of Chuju for the club.
How is Dynasty Warriors 9 should be? It sucks. And the structure, like before I go back to that topic, the structure of Chibi in Dynasty Warriors 9 was terrible. Like it's easily the worst one of the worst aspect of the game. Like here's the thing. Since you're playing Dynasty Warriors 9, if in order to do the fire attack in Chibi, you have to defeat Cao Cao. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say they did make Chibi slightly better with the update. It's still not good. It's one of the worst in the entire franchise. The worst Chibi. But yeah.
The structure is just really ridiculous. So Cao Cao himself will attack you on shore, and then you have to defeat him, and then defeating him triggers the fire attack. Like, isn't like the entire point of the fire attack is to even out the odds against Cao Cao? Why do you have to defeat? Like, if you defeat the commander, what's the point of the fire attack? You already defeated Cao Cao.
Exactly. But yeah, back onto topic of like DLC. I think more costumes, just like you said, would be a great idea. I think including these past costumes as free updates is something that they should do with almost every major update. Like if they're going to be doing major fixes or patches, they should just include one old costume. Why not? Like, you already have the assets, you just need to fix them up and make them look good enough for the Origins engine. Kind of like what they did with Zhao Yun's Dynasty Warriors 3 outfit. They have a shit ton of costumes to use. But they could put brand new costumes as DLC that you actually pay for. Stuff that's not in previous games.
Oh, alright, I mentioned this, and I do want to get into that right now. They should give us the ability to switch our companions at any time without time limit. Now, what I would do to update Origins is what I said on Discord, Chris. Have an arcade mode for Dynasty Warriors Origins. Now, what I mean by arcade mode is that you already have stages in that game where you can function in a way like a classic Dynasty Warriors game. So an arcade mode would be like you play the game per stages. You know, every chapter has a battle, and then per battle. And in arcade mode, you get to pick any character that you want. Like for example, you don't need to just pick as Ziluan and then have a companion. You can have the ability to play, let's say, Guan Yu from the very start. And because you have that arcade mode, that's also a good way for the game to introduce co-op.
Yep. You could go even further and just, like, make it so that every unique character is playable. Like, they're all clones, so you might as well just do that. You could make it so that, like, you can just play through the story as that character even. It's just that it'll skip over those conversations that happen. It just kind of, like, gives you, like, a quick event that would have happened naturally. Like...
True.
And maybe that's kind of what you're thinking of with an arcade mode.
Yeah, exactly. basically have the ability to play as any character from the start instead of just being a companion to Ziluan.
Yeah. Or like you could just in a patch like make it so that you can select that character once they become a companion to Ziluan.
Exactly.
And you can just switch to
so
them
DW2 style.
permanently. Yeah, like a Dynasty
DW2
Warriors
style
2 style.
progression.
Yeah. Where it just like plays the stage. Maybe you get like a quick cutscene that happened in the game in like the base game.
Exactly. One thing I will say about Dynasty Warriors, like when you mentioned like last year about how would you do that in new Dynasty Warriors, like that's what was it last year? That was 2 years ago before it just come out.
Yeah.
One thing I would say about the changes they made about in Dynasty Warriors is that I'm really glad that, and it's probably going to be a standard with Musou games, I'm really glad that Battle Arts exist, the R1 abilities.
Yes. I think
That's
that
gonna be a
was
standard.
that's something that like should have been in the games long before. Like Fate Extella should not have been the first game to do that in a warrior style game.
True. Should have been something Koei kind of like trailblaze in their Musou game.
Yeah,
you know,
even if they tested it in a spin-off, like they did it in Pirate Warriors 4, and it worked so well in that game. I'm just surprised that they included Battle Arts and Musou attacks, because like when I was saying that the way that I would design it is put the Musou attacks into the Battle Arts, and you can choose whether it's just like a quick action kind of attack with a very quick cooldown versus a full-on Musou attack with a longer cooldown.
I honestly I like it better where Musou attacks are separate from Battle Arts.
Yeah, I also prefer it that way. I do want to say I would like to see them add more Musou attacks. Like, you could have like multiple bars, similar to Ken's Rage, where you have multiple bars and certain Musou attacks take up certain numbers of Musou bars.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Samurai Warriors 5 has that, and I'm glad it did. You know, one of the positive things I can say about Samurai Warriors 5 is that R1 abilities is a thing in that game.
Yeah, I think they could have gone a little bit farther in Samurai Warriors 5 with it, but like, I think it was a good precursor to what we ended up getting. And I think that's that's what Samurai Warriors 5 was. It was a precursor to Origins.
It does give a lot more uniqueness and depth in the combat with the R1 abilities, and I see that considering Omega Force has been applying that in a lot of their main Musou games, I'm glad that it's there, and I can see that being a mainstay for the series as it progressed. So you not only just have normal and charge attacks, you have the Battle Arts and special attacks.
Yeah. Like,
which is a positive. Again, it's an absolute positive. I have no complaints. If I have anything, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I kind of wish they made Samurai Warriors 5 like Origins, because, God, I loved Samurai Warriors 5. I thought it was a great time. Like, the stage design is some of the best stage design we've had in a long time. And even though there were cloned movesets, all of the movesets were pretty good, all things considered. Like, to me, it's a similar feeling to Arslan, because the Arslan game that had a bunch of clones and but it had good design.
It's wasted potential, you know. It's always I feel like Dynasty Warriors 9 had so much potential, and it's just leave it to die by Koei Tecmo. It's just there. It was left to rot, and
well, 9 wasn't left to rot. They fucking supported the shit out of that herd.
more like damage control, you know? Like 9 was damage control more than support. I was like, oh,
9
fuck, we
they
fucked
should
up
have
big time.
dropped after release. Not 5. 5 should have got the same level of support that 9 ended up getting. But no, 5 was the one that they were like, yep, we're done. This is it.
And it's kind of a shame because, yeah, if you're into fighting games, like the way Koei treats Samurai Warriors is the same way, it's more or less the same way Bandai Namco treats Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
It's like they're not gonna invest on a Soul Calibur. Like their primary game is Tekken. They're not going to invest on a Soul Calibur unless Tekken does well. It's kind of like Koei with Dynasty and Samurai Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is their main, like it's their main gig, and Soul Calibur is Soul Calibur. Samurai Warriors is like their forgotten stepson or something.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we need a new Soul Calibur game, man. It's been
Soul Calibur
way
7.
too long.
Absolutely. Soul Calibur 6, like, I enjoyed that game, but you can kind of tell Bandai Namco was very
They
in the
were phoning
budget
it in a
constraint
little
for Soul
bit.
Calibur 6. Yeah. They were like, how do I, like, you know, they didn't really invest much in Soul Calibur 6 as they did with Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Right? You can kind of tell, like, the presentation, the production value is very, quote-unquote, cheap. Like, you know Zasalamel, right?
Yep.
In Soul Calibur. Zasalamel doesn't even have a gameplay in his story. It's just him narrating. It's just him narrating with a still image. In his story mode. Yeah, and a lot of the presentation in terms of like quote-unquote cutscenes are just still images of characters portrayed talking to each other. Like you can really tell that the game was not. Okay, wait. Be right back.
Sure. I mean, at least we're getting a Soul Calibur 2. That's coming with the GameCube classic games on Nintendo, right? Doesn't help that the director left Namco Bandai. Well, it doesn't help, but that also hasn't stopped other companies from continuing on a game series without the main people that tend to be involved.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, exactly. There's always instances. In fact, a lot of instances where developers continue the series without the producer or the head for that game. Like for example, Mega Man X continued on without Inafune Keiji.
Yep. Oh my god, I was gonna say something.
What else? Yeah, I'm trying to find another example, but there are multiple. I think a lot of Nintendo games continue on without the lead programmer or the lead director producer in the work. And people say, "Oh, Seigo Bakasara is not going to continue because the producer left Capcom." No, I think regardless of head crews, because people come and go in companies. But the IP itself is owned by the company. So if the company decides to, we want to make the game regardless.
To make that final decision.
So Soul Calibur, like one thing like you notice when it comes to like Koei Tecmo kind of like ham it in or kind of like give less investment on Samurai Warriors is, let's say, not just Samurai Warriors 5, Samurai Warriors 4, I give example. Why is it that we get all the classic costumes in Dynasty Warriors 8, but not in Samurai Warriors 4?
Yep. That was a big thing for me. And then that was the last game that we got a shit ton of old costumes in. Because I feel like, again, that would have helped me come back to Dynasty Warriors 9. And then with Samurai Warriors 5, Nobunaga and Mitsuhide were the only two characters to get their Samurai Warriors 1 costumes.
And the only time Samurai Warriors characters have classic costumes is in Orochi, when they're tied with Dynasty Warriors characters.
Well, actually,
Our preparations for
Samurai Warriors 3 on the PSP had DLC for all of the classic costumes from Samurai Warriors 1
Really?
and 2, as well as the alternate costumes from 1. But it was
Wow.
only the PSP
Well,
version.
I didn't know about that.
I understand the reason why.
Yeah, you can actually find the files for the DLC and get it to work through emulation.
Wow.
Yep.
We shall use
The PS3 didn't even have DLC.
I remember you. You showed us that the Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires on the PSP had retro costumes.
Yeah. But only the PSP version, not the 360 and PS3, where DLC was more readily available.
And where most people would probably prefer to play it.
Yep. And
Yeah, but they put it in the version
Don't get me
with
started
the less
with
power.
DLC in that era. God damn it! Like we should have had Dynasty Warriors 6 Special on PS3 and 360 through DLC because I think it was a year or two before they released Samurai Warriors 2 XL as DLC for the base game on 360. So why didn't they do that with Dynasty Warriors 6? Or Dynasty Warriors Gundam had a PS2 special version that had a story for Musha Gundam, and it's actually where Musha Mark II was introduced. And he had a story.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, Koei works like my friend said. Koei works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I feel like they're not the only
and
one, though. Like, Final Fantasy has been back and forth between being, oh my god, they're giving us everything, to, they're not giving us jack shit.
Speaking of, you mentioned Warriors OGZ. Fun fact, Warriors OGZ was intended to have an international release for the PS3 called Warriors Orchi The Collective. And they already dubbed the game, by the way. If you play Warriors Orchi 2 on the PSP, it's actually Warriors Orchi Z minus Warriors Orchi 1.
Yep.
So they already have the game fully dubbed and fully subbed, but Koei pulled the plug last minute and said, no, this is not going to have an international release. Warriors Orchi Z is going to be a Japanese exclusive.
Yep.
We were robbed, Chris. We were robbed.
To this day, I would still pay money to have an English release of Warriors Orochi Z. To
Same.
this day,
Hey, Koei, you wanna? Okay, so Warriors Orchi is going to, in a couple of years, we are going to celebrate 20th anniversary of Warriors Orchi. The least they can do is release Warriors Orchi Z on Steam, fully in English.
I do not see Sun Chuan. We should cross the river.
You know, I would drop money for that immediately.
I still would love to see a classic remaster. I've been playing. I started playing Dynasty Warriors 3 on stream, and I've got an HD texture pack downloaded and a bunch of visual mods to like help with just the overall visuals. By God, does that game still visually hold up today?
Absolutely. I played Warriors OGZ on the PS3 emulator because the PS3 version is a lot better than the PC version.
Oh?
Same goes with Dynasty Warriors 6. Dynasty Warriors 6 actually was a lot better using on the PS3 than it was in the PC. Like how the cutscenes are real time. You know, the cutscenes are all in 60 FPS. Like Dynasty Warriors 6, despite, like, say what you want about Dynasty Warriors 6, but that game to me has a lot of good aspect that you can consider was ahead of its time.
Yeah, like I would still say that Dynasty Warriors 6 had good design. Like, all the character costumes are pretty fucking phenomenal. The stages are great. The music in 6 is great.
amazing. Yeah.
Um,
The graphics are great as well. Like visually, Dynasty Warriors 6 is one of the prettiest looking Dynasty Warriors game.
oh yeah. It's just the combat that's god awful.
Yeah, right. Probably Chris, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take my leave right now because it's in the afternoon and I know it's getting late for you and I haven't taken any breakfast, so I want to head out, take my
right.
breakfast, and enjoy the holidays right now.
All right, sounds good.
We can talk more about projects that you're doing because I told you that whatever it is you're working and whatever services you can say I can give, I'd love to do. You know, I'd love to be a part on whatever it is you're cooking right now.
Yeah, well, right now I'm really just focused on the Why We Love Warriors video. I've got another lab stream coming up with a few other creators like Lighty and Night Owl. But other than that, I don't really have any big plans because I'm just trying to get this video done. And then I'll figure out stuff after.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, it's always an honor to be part of this community, you know, this Muso community, and to be a part of any project that you guys are doing. Like last year, we have Koei Collection, we have Night Owl inviting us to do some stuff, and I'm in the point right now where if you guys want to do collab with me, I'm super open. Like I would love to do anything. Whatever project, whatever channel you can say, whatever channel. I don't care if you're a big channel, I don't care if you're a small channel. If you have anything interesting, if you are cooking in the kitchen and you want me to be a part of it and I'm interested in it, let's go.
Yeah, like that's the big thing is that as long as we're all interested in each other's stuff, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Exactly.
I probably wouldn't hop directly onto somebody who's reviewing Barbie dolls, but hell, I might if it's interesting enough.
Yeah, exactly. Hey Chris, I want you to narrate this video, like the script I'm doing. We're gonna review the Barbie movies.
I'm fucking down.
Yeah, or we're reviewing, you know, reviewing Hasbro. Is it from Hasbro? My Little Pony. Yeah, we're going to review My Little Hasbro toys from My Little Pony.
Don't get me started. I did watch Friendship is Magic for a little bit there.
Same. Hey, okay.
Have you
I
played
was invested
the My
in a
Little
bit.
Pony trading card game?
No. Hell, Chris, I didn't even know My Little Pony has a trading card game.
I have 2 decks.
Barbie movie reaction when I used to watch the Barbie movies, by the way. Like I used to watch the Barbie movies back in the day. I mean, it's a Canadian 3D animated movies, and one of the reasons, I mean, my sister is a Barbie fan, so I kind of like joined in. And then as I grew older, I realized that Barbie actually voiced my favorite anime character.
Oh?
She was voiced by Barbie was voiced by Kelly Sheridan, a legendary voice actress.
Oh. Dang.
Yeah, she voiced Sango in Inuyasha.
Yeah.
And some of the princes, Prince again, the guy. Some of the Barbie's love interests, like some of the Ken characters in Barbie movies, was voiced by Kirby Morrow.
What?
God rest his soul. Yeah, like Barbie in the Nutcracker. Barbie's voiced by Kelly Sheridan, and the Nutcracker was voiced by, rest in peace, Kirby Morrow.
I'm gonna have to watch the Barbie movies now.
She was like Kelly Sheridan was iconic as Barbie as she was doing anime characters and other cartoons. Yeah, there you go.
I remember
You
playing
learn
some
something
of
new every
the
day.
Barbie video games. Like I remember playing one on the PS1, like back in the day.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I want to take my leave. I'm greatly appreciate for this stream. You know, I'm really appreciate that you that you allow me to invite you here, or allow me to be invited in your stream. It was great. It was fun. It was a great honor.
Hey, no problem. And maybe we'll find the time to align our 2 time zones some other time in the future to jump back on and have another chat. It was fun.
Yeah, I might sound a little bit tired because I literally, when I texted you this morning for me, I just woke up.
Yeah, and right now it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so I should stop the stream.
All right, so guys, I'm really thankful to you, especially Chris. So, is it okay? Like, I'm gonna disconnect from Discord right now, and I want to get something to eat. So, thank you guys so much.
I'm gonna just do my outro, and then I'll be also signing off. But thanks for.
All right, so I'll see you guys later. Right.
All right, have a good one. All right, everybody, and don't forget, the conversation doesn't have to end here along with the stream. You can also go and join the Discord server. There is a link in the description below. Also, be sure to subscribe to and follow Profar as well. He should be linked in the title of this stream. Also, I've got all my social medias down there in the description as well. If you didn't know, I made music back in the day. I've got music on Spotify, YouTube Music. You can use them as sounds on Instagram Reels, TikToks, Snapchat. Just search my name. It's all on there. Don't forget that the stream schedule for next week is going to be coming out hopefully tomorrow, if not tomorrow, sometime Monday. But essentially, it's going to be a rerun of this week. We've got Origins on Monday, the Dynasty Warriors 4 randomizer on Tuesday, Guildcast, taking a look at concept versus in-game designs on Wednesday. So if you want to get part of that, become a member of the guild, or if you want to watch it during the live recording, you can also become a guild officer, strategist, or general to gain certain access as well. If you become a guild general, you can even become a part of the actual recording and join the voice chat while we record everything together. And then Thursday is going to be continuing the Dynasty Warriors 3 playthrough. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be streaming Friday or take a rest day then and do a stream on Saturday. I'm going to figure that out at some point, hopefully before I post the stream schedule, but keep an eye out for that. And with that being said, thanks again. I will see you all in the next stream.